Sakic fakes it, takes it, scores! Joe Sakic! Power play goal!
Welcome, everybody. I'm back to my setup, Connor. I'm back. I'll tell you what. The laptop didn't really do it for me.
No, I think we sort of guessed that. Yeah.
You know, I'm new to this YouTube thing, and I'm realizing, you know, that presentation is absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Welcome to TJ Warren TV. Welcome again, everybody. We are doing a Premier League call-in show where I will go ahead and post the link in the chat here in a few minutes, but I wanted to cut it up with Conor, my media guy, here real quick, about the situation of the North London bottle job team, Arsenal FC, and what we realistically can look forward to through the rest of the season. First of all, Connor, how you doing, man?
I'm all good, TJ. I'm all good. I'm looking forward to this, actually. I took a bit of a break. I haven't gone on any reaction shows to Southampton because honestly, I just wanted a few days off it. I just after I know it was a draw, and I'm at the end of the day, you can't not be happy. Well, I'd be very happy with 3 points because that's what we should have got. But I'm content with a point, let's say. But I was so reactionary and all that. I thought, you know what? I'm gonna go on a stream, gonna chill out, really take it all in, and then go again another day. And here we are today. So, but I'm all good. Yeah. Trying to keep my head out of Arsenal at the moment, but we're gonna go into it today. But thank you very much for having me on, of course.
Of course, man. Anytime. And it's one of those things too where I went back. You know, that was why I was texting you in the middle of the night, being like, "Hey, did you see my reaction? Did I sound like an absolute idiot?" Yeah. Like I was just fuming. I couldn't form words. It was all emotion. And now that I've had a couple of days to think about it, I've kind of, you know, I've come to the realization that we just need to stop talking about the title. We need to stop talking about the title, especially after what we saw today out of Newcastle, especially what we're seeing out of Brighton. I mean, you see Brighton, they're sticking with everybody, and you can never count out Chelsea. Like our run out of games to finish the season is beyond tough. And Manchester City just look like they're never going to slow down. So, you know, have I lost hope in the Premier League title? Yeah. So where realistically can we go now? Is the question, because like we were talking about in backstage, Arteta isn't going anywhere. Let's be honest. Arteta isn't going anywhere. When the Cronkies have their man, they back them until it's an untenable situation. And second place in the Premier League is not an untenable situation. Yes, exactly. Unfortunately for me, my Edu out crusade, like you said, is going to have to end. Because he's not going anywhere either. I mean, it's very, very stable. So, you know, what are your thoughts on the entire situation, and what can we like realistically expect? Are there any positives? Are there really any positives right now? I guess that's my question.
I think the only thing that we can hope for is that this squad decides to play like they've been playing all season before this whole draws came into play from Liverpool. Like, let's not forget, we've been playing some fantastic football this season. It's just unfortunate that it's now sort of like in our blood recently that we just seem to just lose it at the end. Yep. As soon as we're at the final hurdle, we just seem to just completely lose it. And let's be completely real now. If it wasn't for certain events, we could have got 9 points in these 3 games. If it wasn't for Xhaka, we would have got 3 points at Liverpool. If it wasn't for the drop-off at West Ham and thinking this is too easy, let's let them have it, we would have got 3 points. If it wasn't for Southampton and probably underestimating them, we probably would have got 3 points. It was just down to poor performances as well. The next 4 games, I'm bricking it. We've got, I can't remember in the order, but I believe it's Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Brighton. And my God. At this point in time, even against Chelsea, I am bricking it. I really am not looking forward to even that Chelsea game. Imagine if Mudryk shows up and scores against us.
That would be the way. That would be the way it goes because you know I called it. I called it on the American Idiot Show, and I called it on our preview. Theo Walcott's going to score.
It's going to be so embarrassing.
So the ghosts come back to haunt us every single time.
And that's why now I'm just like, in a sense, I'm not aiming for this title. The way the team's performing, I'm not even getting excited for that anymore. As it stands right now, City are the deserved winners in my opinion because they're not giving lackluster performances like we are. Don't get me wrong, we've been fantastic most of the season, but these last 3 games have shown why we're still not really ready yet. And that's why I'm worried for Champions League next season. Because if we're doing performances like this and then bringing it on to next season, we're going to be screwed, Yeah. And after that Southampton game, it's crazy how we always have to why do we have to leave it to the 87th minute to actually score a goal? Because I'm not going to lie, those last 2 goals could have been easily done the way before that. So what was so difficult? It's honestly, and Ramsdale was really poor that game. There was so much wrong with that team, and it was just.
I keep going back to lack of leadership, every single time. It's one of those things where we have people that you would think would be leaders. Odegaard comes over here from Real Madrid. Xhaka, who's a pensioner at the team. But sorry, I have to get to this comment real quick. TJ, I'd love to come on, just can't at the moment. I'm playing drunk football. I'd rather be doing that than talking about this club at this point. Yep. That sounds awesome. Yep. But big up, Del Boy. Thanks everybody for coming. We'll get to the comments here in a minute. But yeah, I mean, I get back to the lack of leadership. You think, you would have leadership with names like Odegaard, with names like Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, but really all they're proving to be is passion merchants. And the one guy who has a level head, who can actually go out there and show leadership both vocally and skill wise, is Kieran Tierney, and he rides bench. And I know everybody's like, well, TJ, you have a Kieran Tierney agenda. Just watch the game, and the agenda goes away. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. Yeah. It's that simple. This is not me being like, I want the team to succeed. This is not me being like, oh, TJ, you just want Zinchenko out. No, I want Zinchenko to succeed at a position where he's meant to play, which is 100%. The midfield. 100%. It's the midfield. This is not rocket science. I mean, what do you think about the leadership crisis? I mean, I really do use the word crisis.
Yeah, no, it's very obvious. And this is the whole problem with building a young squad, TJ. I really can't think. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe my ball knowledge is off. But I really can't think of a base young squad of around 25 years old, mostly, that won major league titles. We went down a really bad road here. Don't get me wrong. We've brought in some exceptional talents. Gabriel, Ben White has been really good this season. I was about to say Odegaard, but he's been good at points, not consistently. Obviously, Saliba has been fantastic. Ramsdale has been great, apart from his recent games. So we've brought in some very good talent. The unfortunate part about making and building a young squad is the lack of leadership, and it's just facts. You look at Manchester City's team; there is young talent there, but there's also a lot of leadership in that team, and things like that. And you look at it, and you do see leadership can take you very far in a team. It can motivate your team. It can really excel your team. And we just don't have that at the moment. And that's down to our mentality of thinking, let's bring in a load of youngsters. We've got the likes of Jorginho on the bench. Yes, we didn't all want him. He wasn't our favourite pick. A lot of us wanted Caicedo. But with the assets he's got, he's won the Champions League. He's won a European trophy with his country, with the Euros.
Yeah.
He's an experienced winner. He's 31. Why are we throwing off Fabio Vieira over him if we really want leadership? At least he's a voice, I was saying to myself, I saw Thierry Henry and Patrick Vieira at the game the other day. One, I felt disgraced as an Arsenal fan, the fact that those players went out with those legends in the stands and they thought they could put a performance like that. But also, I said to myself, do you know what? If I was Henry, I'd go down to that dressing room and I'd tell him what it is. I'd say, you're shit. And excuse my language, I would say that. No. You've been playing crap. This isn't Arsenal. This isn't what you've been like all season. What's gone wrong? And in a sense, we look at that game the other day. Was Granit Xhaka really a massive miss for that game? Because I think it's just crazy how we've just gone from this really good form team where it didn't seem to see like we had many problems to now all of a sudden I feel like we're the team from last season again. Constantly bottling things. And to all the people who are thinking that, this is my opinion, agree with it all you want, disagree all you want. In my opinion, if you really go to the end of the season, we get second, and you really think that this is a really good season and it's a progressive one, honestly, you can jog on. Because Manchester United are currently on for a double, and they might not even get third this season. That's a successive season. You've won 2 trophies. I don't care whether it's the League Cup. The FA Cup is massive for us because it's our most trophies that we've ever won.
Yeah.
You know? So, in my opinion, if Man United somehow pull off the FA Cup final, which I don't think they will, but if they do, they've had a more successive season than Arsenal, and it's a fact. Just finishing second isn't an achievement. It's not an achievement. I'm sorry, it's not. You look at Liverpool, when they were competing with City for the league a couple of seasons ago, and City ended up winning it, and obviously Liverpool won it the season after. As Liverpool fans weren't happy with that. They wanted the title. So I'm sorry, if we're sitting here at the end of May and Arsenal fans are happy with a second place finish with no other trophies, I'm sorry. That is just stupid. It is pathetic.
Well, you see Arsenal fans out there saying, "Oh, well, I'd rather take second place with no trophies than fourth and a FA Cup." And I'm like, you guys are like, who are these people? Who are these people? Honestly, like the maths don't math. Like I really enjoy having hardware in my trophy case, right? Like I don't get the mentality of it, and for that reason, we're always going to have crappy underperforming transfer windows because they let the administration get away with it. And we have I honestly think we have probably 8 players in the current squad that I would want to keep.
We'd have to go through it for me.
We'd have to go through it, and we might have to at some point. But honestly, it's one of those things where
that'll be one for end of the season.
Oh, end of the season, yeah, and that'll be a long one, and I'll probably need to flag it for not safe for kids because I'm going to absolutely go crazy. But it's one of those things where let's go back to Jorginho.
Yeah.
Everybody was bigging this guy up to be this huge leader, and I was hoping that he would bring in that kind of element too. He's a European champion. He's been there before. He knows what it takes to win. Absolutely part of the furniture in the Italian national team. Like you would say, yeah, this guy's has more than enough. I don't see anything but passion there. I don't see any of it. Like, and you saw him on the touchline coaching. Like that's great. That's fantastic. What are you doing to perform on the pitch? And now they're talking about bringing in Mason Mount, Conor.
Oh, mate.
Like, what? Like, that was the next thing that I saw. That was the next thing that I saw from this absolutely clapped English media. Everybody makes fun of American media. Wow. Okay. Wow. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, not to get too off topic. And then you get Martin Odegaard. He keeps doing Casper the Friendly Ghost in every important game. Every single important game. And we talked about this before. We'll say it again. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but Real Madrid got rid of this guy, and now we're seeing why. Chelsea wanted Jorginho gone, and now you see why. Portugal.
Lily Moons made a great comment there. Sorry, TJ.
Go.
And that's facts. Arteta, we saw this many seasons ago. There's that iconic picture of when I believe we beat Chelsea 1-0 at the Bridge. It might have been, I think it was last season or the season before. Yeah. The iconic picture of Arteta wrapping his arm around Jorginho, probably clearly telling him, "Yo, I want you. Probably can you come to me? I work for make a transfer. Will you come?" Right? Why aren't you playing him then? That is fact. Why did you buy him if you're not going to play him? Why are you playing Fabio Vieira, a clear non-proven Premier League player, when you've got a proven Premier League player sat on your bench? Even Smith Rowe has more Premier League experience than Fabio Vieira.
Free Smith Rowe.
And I don't like ripping into players, right? Because Fabio Vieira, realistically, hasn't had much of a shot here at Arsenal this season. He's new. He's a new kid on the block. He hasn't performed like we want to for 35 million. I'm not going to rip him into him too much. I'm ripping into Arteta's factor that he's bought these players, he's got these players, and he isn't utilising them enough. Fabio Vieira should be the one on the bench, and that's no disrespect to him, but I'm sorry, mate, you haven't proved yourself to be getting a starting 11 shot. I don't even care if it was 20th place Southampton. I still start Smith Rowe if you want to be going more attacking. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And the fact that he bought Jorginho and he was banging on about buying him ages ago, and we didn't end up getting him. I think it was maybe last summer. But and then you're not playing him. You're bringing him on in the 80th minute in some games. On some games, not even. Do you know what? Some games, TJ, I'm actually forgetting he's even playing for Arsenal Football Club because we just don't play him. You know, he came on in that Aston Villa game, actually made a difference by getting that goal. I know it was a rebounded goal, but he got the goal. And in my opinion, he made a bit of a difference. I know he's not many people's favourites. No, people didn't want him. But I'd still play him. Why not? What's the difference? What's the point? What's the point in having him there just to rot? Have him on a wage when you're not going to play him, and just leave him there. I don't understand it. I really don't. And this is the thing with Arteta. I wish he would, because he doesn't do it in press conferences, because the people who are asking him the questions are too scared to ask it in case they get kicked out of the press conference room because of it. I generally I'm like, Mikel, what is your thoughts when you look at substitutions and you're bringing players on, especially the timing? What's going through your head? Seriously, like, what is going through your head? Because again, against Southampton, why didn't we make half-time changes? We're 2-1 down against 20th place relegation battle Southampton. We're first place, challenging for a Premier League title, and you still think that team was good enough to go out in the next 45 with no changes? It's just ridiculous. And this is where Arteta's weaknesses come into it. He's been fantastic for majority of the season, but he's got to stop making these stupid mistakes. They're not even mistakes. They feel purposeful at this point because he keeps making the same things. Late substitutions, no plan B. It's as simple as that, you know? And that's why I'm so worried about City, because I'm not going to lie to you, Jay. I have a very funny suspicion, and I think a lot of people will agree with me. We'll all be sat here on these shows in the chat, in the comments, saying the exact same thing. Arteta didn't have a plan B. He went to Man City and he went inverted. And I guarantee you will be talking about that on Wednesday night or Thursday, whenever we decide to do a show.
100%. 100%. Let's go through these comments and we're going to start letting people in. Again, link is in the chat. Anybody who wants to come on. I was getting absolutely ripped apart in my Tottenham group chats, and now they're not talking very much. Really enjoyed this morning. It saved my weekend a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Let's go through the comments. We'll let everybody in here. Tony says this season's turning into a Kansas City shuffle. Big up Kansas City. That's spot on, because that's where I am. That's where I'm from. Good job, Tony. I don't know if he did that on purpose, but that made me laugh. 99% of the fan base wanted top 4 in Europa League. Kicked out of all competitions. Bottled an 8 to 11 point gap on the title. Now 99% are happy with second and no trophy. It is brutal, Tony. Thanks for stopping by, my man.
Wait, do you know what? Quickly, going back on. I know I'll read comments quickly. Going back on changing players around. Maybe Arteta's too scared. Like long-haired Jetty put. Maybe he's a bit too worried. He wants to keep on lead because Company and Burnley are about to get fined for giving out a weakened team against.
That's
Reading.
a joke. That's a joke.
They think they want to be giving them a point. They only got a point. They didn't get 3. It was 0-0.
Nope.
And the side wasn't even that rotated. So that on a side was ridiculous, by the way. And the fact that they're giving them a 1-point deduction. Oh no! Oh no!
It's. I bet you Vincent Company is losing sleep over it.
He's fuming. He's banging his desk table. We've got the league now, and that really sums up English football, TJ. That really sums up English football. You've given a point to Reading. What have they got an agenda against Reading or something? You know, they had their full starting 11. One of my local teams is QPR, right? Burnley had a full strong, their main starting 11 out against QPR the other day, and they still lost 2-1. Are they gonna fine them for that now? If Man City lose to, who have they got coming up that's really bad? I don't know. If Man City lose to Fulham because they put Alvarez at striker and Haaland on the bench and whoever in midfield, are they going to ban them for that as well? Like, it's just ridiculous. Sorry, that was stupid. I'm sorry, but I
agree with you.
A fine and a 1-point deduction for a team that's already won the league or the championship. Sorry, like just ridiculous. Honestly,
yeah, just for playing and rotating the squad. I think it's hilarious, Scott.
So it's now a bad thing to rotate your squad. I'd kill for Arteta to rotate sometimes because some of the players that he plays just shouldn't be playing either in their position or just shouldn't be playing. Fabio Vieira, you know. So I had to quickly mention that because that was ridiculous. Honestly, but I'll let you carry on.
Absolutely. All right, carrying on here, and then we're gonna get Manny on. He's in the back. Scott says Avs out, Arsenal out, TJ out. Yeah, that's Avs are up 2-1. Arsenal and me. Yeah, sometimes I want myself out too, Scott. Big up for coming though. Big up for coming. Flossie says hi, way the lads. Way to go. Way to go.
Well done to you.
Way to go.
That's a team.
Congratulations.
That's a team.
Congratulations.
That's a comeback, losing to Aston Villa like that. I know it's Tottenham, but that is what you call a comeback, and that's a team. Trust me, you'll be fighting for that title in a couple of seasons. Trust me.
Yeah.
You'll be up there.
Matt called that one too. The Southern Gooner called that one, saying, "Oh yeah, they're going to be challenging." I'm like,
they'll be there.
Why can't we be like that? Why can't we be like that? Tayyip says appointing Arteta was pointless. I don't know if I agree with that, but I mean, it's looking pretty pointless right now. Yeah. We have 300 players. Give them all a chance. Maybe. Jorginho's a washed-up Chelsea player. We did the same with David Luiz. Yeah, rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Bringing to the show, making his triumphant return to TJ Warren TV. We got Manny. Manny.
TJ.
Tell me something. TJ. Manny, tell me something that gives me hope.
The sun comes up tomorrow.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You wanted it. You got it. Evening, boys. Conor, evening, mate. How are you?
All good, man. I'm all good.
Yeah, so, I mean, there really isn't much that can be said. I mean, everything that I would have wanted to say was more or less said on Dell's stream on Friday. And it's probably just as well that it was on a Friday, because at least until now we wouldn't have had to relive that horrible, result. And that's actually one of those games, mind you, where it would have been much better if we had lost than drawn, because at least now our fans would have woken up and realized just how poor we are. I know it sounds horrible, but it's something that has to be said. Because I'm really sick and tired, of people still continuing to big up the Bournemouth win as an example of, the stuff of champions. Because I've said this repeatedly. I've seen more than my fair share of games where, we at least didn't play half as badly as we did against either Bournemouth or Southampton. And even if we did go behind, we were able to fight our way back and win. That's the stuff of champions, not, falling behind to South Coast relegation teams and then somehow finding the gumption to, come back. I'm sorry, but you don't deserve credit for that. You should never put yourself into a situation where you had to fight back against those teams in the first place. And again, against Southampton, I was absolutely disgusted with the lineup. And I'm sick of a lot of this talk on Twitter where a lot of people have decided that Kieran Tierney is simply not capable of playing the inverted role. He's come back into the team after a long gap, and sadly, he's now expected to, work miracles for Arteta, doing something which simply doesn't make him comfortable. And he tried his best, and I'll tell you what, those idiots who are only too willing to criticize him conveniently forget that wonderful last-ditch tackle on Jared Bowen that saved us from conceding a goal on the break. And yet, there's a saying in Hindi, "Ghar ki murgi dal barabar," and translated into English, it means the chicken of the house is really no better than the lentils or the legumes that you consume. And it means that sometimes your prized assets are taken so much for granted that people just don't recognize their value. It's absolutely sickening, and I'm sorry, but Arteta really has to be blamed for a lot of the issues that are coming on, that are taking place right now. And as for the talk of how, he's once again resorted to his ridiculous system, what does it say about insanity? The definition doing the same damn thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. One of these days, and no, not power right in the kisser, but one of these days, Mikel Arteta will be shown up for the, the failed coach that he is. And by that time, the fans won't be able to recognize it because they're still going to be in denial. Someone has to, really shake some sense into these fans and make them see that the emperor has no clothes on. But until that happens, I just don't think we'll be able to, survive this stuff. It's horrible. It's all the more horrible that we have to put up with this. It really is. But hey,
oh boy,
that's I guess that's life as an Arsenal fan. Hey,
yeah. Hey, Manny, you're generally a pretty positive guy, but that didn't really help me. That didn't help me very much. Dang it, Manny. Come on.
Listen, I can't be toxic positive. I have to try to be a little bit of a realist. But at the same time, listen. At the same time, look, there have been precedents of, listen, if Newcastle could recover from a horrible beating to thrash Tottenham today, there's no reason why we shouldn't go to the Etihad and try and give them a fight, because City will be expecting us to roll over and die. Now, this isn't a means of saying that we are actually going to dominate them, because, again, the refrain is simple. If we couldn't beat Southampton, why should we expect to be able to beat Manchester City? All we can do is hope to put in a good performance, and yet, I don't know if I can agree with Seamus Heaney, but sadly, hope and history might not rhyme. It'll be up to us to see if it can happen.
Well said, Manny. Well said. All right. Without further ado, we have two more guys in the back. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Fresh off of his appearance on Tottenham away. Fresh off of his appearance on the football terrace. We have Strasbourg Steve.
Hey, Super Jordy, hey, Super Jordy, hey, Super Jordy, hey. Come on now,
we're gonna go ahead and get Dow in here too.
Oh, not as excited, Dow.
All right.
No, I'm not excited.
This is going crazy.
I will tell you why I'm not excited. Because I'm more scared of Newcastle than I am City. Because Eddie Howe has them playing like a real club. And you know what? I want to go back to what Manny said a few days ago. Where was the Carpe Diem Friday? We did not see shit. So we have to come out. We have to beat City. And sorry, Steve, your tune is going down, baby.
Honest to God, bro.
All right.
The dichotomy.
I watched that game. I watched the highlights of the Spurs. The Spurs Newcastle game.
Bro, I feel like I'm high. I feel like I'm high off crack. Like I'm seeing shit. I just can't.
Well, you certainly sound as if you're high on crack, Steve.
Watching the Spurs, what was left of the Spurs fan base just absolutely crumble.
Those guys were leaving after 15 minutes.
It made me so happy. It saved my weekend. And Steve, you and I are good friends with a lot of those Tottenham guys over there. They're really, really nice guys. And they were like, honestly, like, let's have it continue. Let's have it to be like 8-0, 9-0. They want to see these guys out. They want to see Levy out so badly that they were almost cheering on the black and white. So Steve, give me your overall performance, your summary. Give us your thoughts. I know you're absolutely on one. I saw you doing the freaking hokey pokey over there on Tottenham. So go ahead and tell us what's going on. And I know you haven't slept because you're an absolute psychopath. So go ahead and tell us.
I don't have any words, bro. How do you emotionally manage going from a relegation fodder heap of shit to Champions League contenders? How the hell does this happen in a year and a half? I'll tell you what, that's what it is, brother. That's what
Saudi
it is.
investment.
It's called Saudi investment. These guys are ruthless. Oh my fucking God. No, honestly, like these guys, all of these Newcastle, every single player, manager, employee of the club is fighting for their cause to stay on, right? And these guys are hungry like the hippos, bro. I mean, my God, They just swallow.
Eddie Howe knows how to set up a squad. He knows how to motivate players. He knows what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and he knows not to put two fucking fragile Flowers at a left back.
Yeah, Money works.
Who can get overrun?
Money works too, man.
Southampton.
Money doesn't work though if you spend it like crap.
Let's do it now. Yep. Bring him in now.
If you give me 500 million, sure.
Dude,
Anthony, hold on. Why isn't this thing clicking? Wouldn't let me show it. Okay, there we go. StreamYard's going all crazy today. All right.
Far from lucky today. Newcastle annihilated them. There was nothing lucky about that at all.
No, that was 11 cowards and Schmeagol versus this
Tottenham
team.
Tottenham had the back to Newcastle goal for 75 minutes.
Yep. Spurs are their house is on fire.
The thing is, why did we not do that to Southampton, TJ? Why did we not come out there with that mentality and fucking annihilate them?
I have an answer.
4-0 before halftime. See,
Steve.
I didn't really rate Eddie Howe. Sorry, Steve. 1 second. Eddie Howe wasn't my favorite at Bournemouth, but you know what? He has them playing like a class team. And I don't rate Longstaff, but my God, he's better than Vieira. He's looked better than Partey. He looks better than Odegaard Friday. I digress. Go ahead, Steve.
Alexander Isak, Botman, Cher, Dan Burn, Trippier, Hope. Jacob Murphy was on smoke today. That goal, that was Steven Gerrard-esque, dare I say it. That was a straight pub dart. Boom to the left. And Larry was standing there like, he couldn't do anything. Spurs were diabolical, but you know what? We punished each and every single one of their mistakes, and we could have probably even had a few more. Honestly, like we pulled their pants down, spanked them, said, "Call me daddy," and we just rolled them over. Honestly, and we didn't even go that hard.
Steve, do try to keep it PG, huh?
What's their Vaseline?
He's fine, Manny. He's fine.
There was nothing.
That was
Manny. Don't worry. No. That was a rated R performance from Spurs. And they're trying to say PG. Yeah, that was it, bro. That crossed the line. No, honestly, that was incredible.
I did see them start like blurring certain sections of the pitch because they couldn't show it on TV.
No, honestly, hold on, one sec. To answer Oregon Gooners' question, why weren't you guys hungry like we were against Spurs today?
We're bottle drops. Next.
I said, well, yes. I think it's too comfortable at Arsenal. Yeah. I think it's far too comfortable at Arsenal. Keep in mind, Saka is the one with the cards in his hand, not Arsenal. Arsenal wants him to sign that contract. If it was the other way around, do you think you'd get more consistent performances out of him through this title fight? You sure would.
See, yeah, I'm one that I try not to fall under that contract performance myth too much. I mean, I know there's something to it, but for me personally, I just think Saka's just been relied on too heavily. I don't think it has to do with the contract. I don't think that his performance in Southampton is because he's thinking of a contract.
No. I'm just saying. Not even Saka. I wasn't trying to say, it is. I'm just giving an example in terms of the player has more power in this situation. Basically, Arsenal need him more than Saka needs Arsenal.
That's very true.
Matty Longstaff needs Newcastle more than Newcastle need Matty Longstaff. That was the point I'm making, and that's
do a job. That's the thing, though. Our players don't do a job. If we had
we could bin him. We could bin him for Caicedo if we wanted to this summer, and he knows that. All these players know it. They are replaceable. So, do you want to be a part of the tune party for years to come? Show me. Show me this year. Show me it back end of last year. This is the hungriest squad, bar Man City, in this league. The hungriest.
Do you think it's and maybe I can go to Conor with this one. Do you think it's Arsenal don't have the same fight because there's a lack of competition for positions?
Do you know what it is? down to the fact
Connor, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, Connor. It's going to be all right.
It's down to, do you know what, TJ? It's down to the fact they've got a more experienced manager. Yes,
100,000%.
Those players that they bought this summer that they just got. So they got who they got. They got Steve knows. They got Botman, Guimaraes. Is that right? Yeah, they got Botman, Guimaraes. Who else they getting in the summer? They got Isak. Right.
Guimaraes was January.
Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus.
And Almiron was really good at the beginning of the season, Connor. Remember, Almiron was in form big time.
Yeah, this is the thing. Arteta's done a very good job up to now this season, right? Tactically and everything, he's been fantastic. But this is the difference between a proven manager, a proven knowledge in football and managerial football, compared to
a novice.
I don't want to say rookie, but to a rookie. You know?
No, he is a novice. This is his first.
This is his first managerial job, and this is the problem. Because let's be real, no one expected Eddie Howe to go to this Newcastle side and take them to where they are right now. And I'm going to be completely real with you. It doesn't matter they've got Saudi Arabians in the team. This isn't down to the Saudi Arabians. Yes, they've got a bit more extra money to buy players. This is down to the core of the team, the managerial, the staff behind them. They know
club
what they
culture.
want as a club. We don't have that. It's just factual. It is. They'll bring in more. Bruno Guimaraes chose Newcastle over Arsenal. We were laughing when he went there. Who's laughing now? And then in a couple seasons, they will. If we go the way we are in the system that we are, of how we buy players and stuff, and we don't go for the elite level players, they will be above us. They'll be above everyone at one point, you know. And this is what you've got to do as a football club like Arsenal. That's no disrespect to Newcastle. We are a bigger club than them,
of course.
But we're going to make them look the bigger club by the way we are, by the way they're acting.
It's called the ambition, brother. It's called club culture. It's unacceptable 100%. Nowadays for Newcastle to lose and draw games.
That's the problem. We're making by the way we're moving, i.e. the transfer market, the way our staff are, the way like Edu does and Vinay and everyone above them, the way they're moving, and you can tell sometimes. I don't think Arteta's fully to blame. Well, some of the players he wanted, some players didn't. It's very factual that Edu didn't get some of the players that Arteta wanted, and that's just factual. And it's down to Edu. It's down to maybe the Kroenkes not putting an extra 50 mil into the club because they're too much of cheapskates. And this is the problem with Arsenal when it really boils down to it. When stuff really goes sideways, the problem with Arsenal is at times we do not act like a big club, and it's just pure facts. And now teams like Newcastle, I've got massive respect for Newcastle with what they've done this season. They're going to build a fantastic side, and they're just starting to build a fantastic side, in my opinion. It's only going to get bigger and better. But if you looked at that Newcastle side at the start of the season compared to Arsenal's, you wouldn't think that you would obviously, in my opinion, you think Arsenal got the better team. But realistically, I just think Newcastle got the better team. They've got the better defensive record. They
far better.
They just
by about 15 goals, I think.
Yeah. They just look more set up.
Let me double check. But
in my opinion, they just look more set up. And at the end of the day, we're not going to change as a football club unless the mentality changes. And if we finish second, and I swear to God, and people think that that's an achievement, I'm done. Because if that was Manchester City, if that was Liverpool, even if that was Man United, when Man United got second last season with Manchester City, you didn't hear Manchester United fans, oh, whoopee-doo, we got second. Yes, let's go. It's only Arsenal fans. Why do we celebrate second place? Why are we looking forward to excuses of, oh, it's a young team, we're building something? What happens if we get fifth next season? Are we really building something then?
No, you're not.
What happens if we don't win the Premier? We should be getting, if we do not win the Premier League title this season, I'm expecting it next season. Because if we can do it once, we can do it again. And if you're walking into that next season, and if we even get I don't even care if we get top four, we've got to get the Premier League title. Man City beat Liverpool to the title a couple seasons ago. Liverpool fans were fuming. Klopp was fuming. The whole club was fuming. They went ahead next season and they won the title. That's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Sorry.
All right, I'm going to go through the comments real quick, guys, and then I want to keep going around in the circle. We'll toss it over to Manny next. All right, imagine Man City, and then imagine beating Man City and then losing to Chelsea at home with Mudryk scoring the winning goal. Yeah, Arsenal forever. We actually talked about that at the beginning of the stream, and that's probably going to actually happen. It's probably going to happen. I'm not going to lie to you. Not going to lie, and it would be peak. Philip says Odie and Party haven't looked the same without Saliba. Yeah, facts. Absolute facts.
Partey's been shocking.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that, Steve. We'll get to that, Steve.
I don't recognize the guy.
Tony says, Arsenal baby formula not ready for proper food yet. Youngest squad in need. That's not an excuse anymore, Tony. That's not an excuse anymore. Long-haired Yeti says they lose and still pick the next game for lack of depth. You need competition for pace to push you on, and you don't have it. Very true. Very true. Arteta tactically poor and has been for the last 3 years. No plan B. He's playing Football Manager on PC.
Boom.
Yep. Everybody in here is speaking facts. Yep, agreed. For me, it's El Pradabra who takes Arsenal on these winning streaks, and then Arteta just screwed up. I don't know. Arteta looks like he's in control some games, and the other games he looks like he's not even watching the same game we are.
Yeah.
It's really sad. Jaminho says Arsenal and Newcastle combined 11. How many Arsenal players do you think would get in? Probably not that many. Newcastle are better than us and will stuff us. Actually, you know what? That's a really good question. That's a really good question.
Maybe we should do that now.
Yeah, let's do that now. Arsenal combined 11. Okay, Nick Pope for me.
Connor, what about you?
Is the better goalkeeper Nick Pope, in my opinion.
Yep. So Manny.
Oregon?
So Conor says Pope. Manny says Pope. Dal.
Ramsdale, baby.
You think Ramsdale?
After what you just saw. Hey, you
know what? Hey, but I'm not going to say Zinchenko.
Okay, so let's go to
big whoop, as you would say.
the vote is already in because those three all pick Pope, so I will say Pope as well.
Okay. If I get overruled, that's fine. I just say Ramsdale because how many times has been man of the match this season?
Yeah, and if you're in the chat, follow along with us. Combined 11 for Newcastle. Combined 11 for Newcastle Arsenal. Left back. Go.
It's Dan Burn because he's an actual left back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dan Burn.
Actual, that's fair. Yeah. Well, then again, Dan Burn actually isn't a left back. He plays there. He's actually a centre back, but
because he can defend. He can defend. Zinchenko can't.
How is he that tall and that slow? But he's still the better left back than Zinchenko. I don't understand. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there was actually a point of play when I think it was Heung-min Son who was sending in a hopeful cross, which nobody was able to get. But because Burns' first touch was a bit clumsy, he ended up conceding a corner. I think in terms of ability, if form isn't really an issue, in terms of ability and obviously what he's capable of and what I've seen him do this season, despite not getting any games, I'd say Kieran Tierney. And hey, he's so good. Newcastle want to sign him.
And we probably will.
We'll do the combined 11 this time next season, and he will be in the team. Only he'll be wearing black and white stripes.
Yeah,
my take is that
that's been in the news, that's been in the newspapers today for apparently 32 to 35 million pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, but I haven't taken that he could very well join Aston Villa and be reunited with Unai Emery, and they're also planning on bidding for Kyle Walker and Calvin Phillips from Manchester City.
Wow.
So Emery's building a team, boys. Emery's building a team.
Yep. Okay, so we got center backs. Go, Steve. We can start with you.
So who did we choose? Tierney at left back?
I went with is Tierney an option? Because he never gets played.
Are we doing this? If we're
doing this season, it's going to be Dan Burn, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Dan Burn for me. If we're going on just the fact that he actually gets played.
Back, fair enough.
Yep.
I'll give you.
It'll have to be
Gabriel. I'll give you Gabriel. I get Botman though.
I don't know, Saliba.
Botman.
Well, who's your two?
TJ, they have conceded less goals than us this season.
9 goals less.
I know. Well, they've been. You know what? Yeah, you're right. They've been the most offensively sound team.
Botman's been fantastic this season.
Botman has been. He should be Premier League Team of the Season.
Okay, so for Arsenal,
for Holland are fantastic.
And above Saliba though.
I'd go for Saliba and Botman.
I'd agree with Gabriel and Botman in the defense.
So Oregon didn't get the final.
Yep, we're split.
As much as I'm impressed with Saliba, I got to go with Botman.
All right.
Botman and
Gabriel. All right.
No, I actually would like I prefer the combination of Saliba and Botman because with Saliba you get excellent ball playing, and with Botman I think he's a bit better in the air.
Yep.
And
Okay,
Botman can also
in terms of this season, in like performances, it's got to be Gabriel over Saliba.
Yeah, I think Gabriel's been the best.
I think Saliba can be a better defender than Gabriel, but on basis of how they've both performed this season, Gabriel is. Gabriel's been more solid. Apart from recent times in these last couple of games, it's been Gabriel. So Gabriel and Botman. I'm sorry, Trippier's at right back. You can't not say Trippier's not.
Oh no,
I would say Ben White personally.
Really? I'd say White.
Yeah, Trippier's been fantastic, but Ben White has been just a little bit better, I think.
I think Ben White
creatively is. I'm really
Ben White's been very, very solid at the back, but he's also created and produced offensively as well. That's why I want to go Ben White.
I'll go Ben White.
I would prefer Kieran Trippier because he's also done very much the same thing for Newcastle. And obviously, he also provides an option with set pieces. Not bad for a right back. But if everyone's spoken, it has to be Ben White.
Everybody in agreement, Ben White? I think that's the majority. That's the majority.
I've got a shout for Trippier for sure because, I mean, look at him going to Atletico Madrid. I mean, look at the experience he's gained from where he was before at Tottenham to Atletico Madrid. I mean, he's a top right back. But I'll go Ben White just because, like I said, he gets up the pitch more assists.
He's just been that little bit better.
Yeah.
Little bit.
He wasn't
It's a close call, though. Midfield 3. Mine is Guimaraes. Oh, from Arsenal, you got to go.
For me, it's Guimaraes, Odegaard, and Partey.
Me too.
In my opinion. Guimaraes, Odegaard, and Partey.
Joelinton has a.
Joelinton's hit or miss, bro. He was good at the early of the season, but he really did fall off after the World Cup, to be honest.
No, Joelinton was man of the match today, though.
Today, but I mean, just saying, like, after the World Cup, he wasn't talked about as much as before the World Cup when he was scoring goals for you guys. I think he scored like 3 or 4.
He's got 5 on the season, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the 4 of them. I think he scored early before the World Cup, if I remember.
Odegaard.
The puppet master, the paper boy. Only when you give him 6 yards room, though.
I wouldn't touch Odegaard with the barge pole. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Graham Chapman from Monty Python. 1 or 2 small contributions, which happen to be genius, and then he shuts off. You don't hear from him again.
He runs around a lot.
That's why I'm tempted.
You can't lie. His stats this season have been fantastic. What has he had this far? Yeah, he's had 12 goals, 7 assists. Like, I know he's been poor these couple games, but you can't write that off. He has been fantastic this season.
He's the attacking
But Conor, how many of those goals and assists have come against really big teams? And many of us have been slating the fella for going missing against the bigger teams. I know George Best used to go missing a lot. Miss Canada, Miss United Kingdom, Miss World. But, for Odegaard, you really want your captain to step up and really take leadership when it truly, truly matters against some of the big teams. And for the most part, he hasn't really done that. So if I had to go with my midfield 3, Guimaraes would definitely be there. Ex-Arsenal man Joe Willock would have to be there. He might not have scored too many goals, but he's definitely played his role in Newcastle's rise. I do like Thomas Partey, and I do like Granit Xhaka. If I had to choose one or the other, I probably would choose Partey. Yes, he has been off the boil, but whenever he's played, he's looked fantastic, and he has got one hell of a long-range shot.
Yeah.
Especially when you need a goal in the 80th minute, and he just decides to put it into the deep stand. Thanks, Party.
Come on.
Come on, man. You knew that he could have done something different with that. Once he hit that, he could have done a little something different with it.
He could have done, but then so many people could have done a lot more. I know that.
That's true.
Odegaard is a flat track bully. Ancelotti saw that he wasn't good enough and binned him out of Real Madrid. And let's put it in perspective. They wanted Ceballos back, and they said we could keep Odegaard. I think that puts it into perspective.
That says it all, don't it?
God, Ceballos was so bad here, though. Oh, he is
Been fantastic.
I think he had one good game.
Yeah. Yeah, one good game.
We all watched that Burnley game. We thought he was the next Santi Cazorla.
So where we at with midfielders?
So we got Party in there.
Party, Guimaraes, and
As Miley Cyrus say, everybody knows, everybody everybody knows. We got the party in here.
You know why I'll take Joe Ellington over Odegaard? Because Joe Ellington works his butt off from minute one to minute end. And he can score goals, and he's Brazilian, so yeah, I'll take him over Odie.
You don't want to play against Joe Ellington. He'll kick you around. He'll shove you, get stuck in. He is such a pain in the ass to play against. Honestly,
I can't wait for him to own Odegaard.
Oh,
I'm personally going to stick with Odegaard, Partey, and Guimaraes, in my opinion.
I'm going overall form throughout the season, and I'm going Odegaard too. Even though I'm very angry with him right now. Yeah.
So wait, everyone's in agreement. Guimaraes.
Yeah, I'm
Guimaraes, Party, Odegaard are the
which
three.
Which speaks to his quality, by the way. Oh my God.
Yeah. My days. Yep. I agree. I can go with that. All right. Left wing.
Has to be Martinelli.
Have to be Martinelli.
Yeah, it's got to be
Yep.
I think we all agree.
Easy.
Murphy ain't that good.
On the right,
Saka.
Sorry.
Saka.
Yeah.
Isak.
Well, no, up top. Okay, so here's where I'm going to raise a little bit of debate here. Isak versus Jesus. Isak is on a purple patch of form right now. He's been absolutely incredible. But before that, he was silent. And up until 3 weeks ago,
he was injured.
Well, yeah. Well, 3 weeks ago, that's fine. So is Jesus. 3 weeks ago, Newcastle had the lowest scoring team, one of the lowest scoring teams in the league. Obviously, they had the defense to back it up. But Jesus versus Isak, I would just for what they overall provide for their team, I'm going with Jesus because he provides the link-up play, and when he gets on form, he gets on form. Lately, I mean, the last 2 games, it's been a little brutal to watch, but I mean, overall, in terms of impact to their team, I'm going with Jesus, but I can see the argument for Isak.
It's a tough one.
Just my thought.
It's a tough one. I mean, the stats for Isak: 15 played throughout the season, 11 starts, 10 goals. So for me, I want my striker to score goals. I think Jesus is magnificent, but
I'd personally go for Isak on the fact that he came back from a big injury, and he's just made this massive. I'm telling you. He's going to score goals against our defense, man. I'm worried. I'm so worried for that game.
Manny, you get deciding vote, I think.
Left wing, right?
No,
we just go left wing.
Left wing and right wing are obvious.
Yep.
I mean, not obvious. I mean, my left wing would be Martinelli. My right wing would probably have to be Saka. And centre forward, ooh, that is a toughie.
I'm saying Isak.
How are Callum Wilson's stats?
Callum Wilson's got 10 goals. He's got, let me look it up for you, 24 played, 16 starts, 11 goals. So Isak and Callum Wilson are both on 10 goals at least. Wilson has 11 and Isak has 10. Almiron has 11.
If I had to choose, I probably would go for Callum Wilson over Gabriel Jesus.
Wow.
Oh.
No, I think Wilson's good, but Isak? You would take a Wilson over Isak?
I just think Wilson has more goals from open play. Isak scored more penalties.
Okay, fair. Interesting. Oregon Gooner, what about you?
I didn't realize Callum Wilson and Isak's numbers were so close.
And Almiron. Almiron's got 11.
I know, because but there's something about the Martinelli and Jesus connection, But I'm going to go against that. I'm going to put Isak in there because he provides something different.
Boom.
And
I think
Isak can score goals outside the box. I know he's got a few more pens, like Manny said, but Isak offers something different. How many floated balls do we put in the box that just get headed out by an opposing back four all the time? We're putting balls in the box. Jesus does not head the ball. Martinelli doesn't really head the ball. Jesus will get a couple. They'll scrape off the top of his head. But Isak is 6'4", commands the box, can go up against any defender of any height, and he has an outside shot. And maybe his combination play is not as good, but he's a true out-and-out striker, which is what we need. Yeah, I got to go Isak on this one, boys.
For me, I think if you guys had an Isak off the bench or something, I mean, my God, how that could change your team.
Yeah, I don't know why I know our Lee Gunner said many times, we don't have many crosses in the box. He thinks Kieran Tierney is one of the only people who can cross the ball.
Yeah,
which is there's some fact to that. However, Gabriel Jesus isn't even 6'2". Saka isn't 6 foot. Martinelli's probably 6 foot. I don't see how. Let's go against Newcastle. I mean, if we're putting air ball, crosses into the box, Botman's going to have a field day. Mm-hmm. And that's what we need to think strategically and changing it up the lineups. Like, why do we have Nketiah and not Isak? It goes back to those decisions that will win you trophies. And that's why I get so upset when I see a player that we're hot after that we can afford, and then he just goes to Newcastle, and then we're like, oh, fuck it, let's give Andy Nketiah $100,000 a year in the number 14. It makes no sense. And so Isak, right now for me, is a better informed player than Jesus. And there's more combinations and more goal scoring opportunities with him up top right now.
That's fair. And you know what? Isak, what's a striker's job? What's the striker's job? To score goals. There you go. And Jesus, there are some games where he goes off, but it's the consistency of, do you score at least a goal a game ish around there? I mean, my God, Isak has 10 and 12 for God's sake. That's ruthless.
And as you guys know, the Premier League is based on pace and power. If you want technical ability, go to Spain. Right? I mean, we have technical ability in the Premier League, bundles of it. I'm not saying that is void, but if pace and power is the name of the game. Speed, strength, getting the ball up the pitch, getting the goal, and then, keep pressing or sit back, whatever your makeup is. But right now, referring to Arsenal, we don't really have an identity. Our attacking identity is Zinchenko inverted, and everybody else does the same thing. And I'm really curious, like what Manny has us think about that tactical part, because again, we see Vieira and Zinchenko in our lineup Friday. Yeah, that's weakness. That is a weak part of the pitch that can be exploited by any Premier side. Southampton showed us how it's done.
Yeah. I saw someone trying to explain it as they tried to dress it up as it's basically just Trent Alexander-Arnold, and that Gabriel's supposed to cover for him. Well, the problem with that is that Trent Alexander-Arnold has won every single club trophy you can with Liverpool. That same success has not been there yet with Zinchenko in this role. And also, Arteta is a novice. Klopp started out managing FSV Mainz in Germany when they were in the Zweite Bundesliga, the second division. He had to get them promoted and then played Bundesliga seasons. That, for me, if we want to talk, if we're talking why I don't think Arteta will be a success at Arsenal, is because he has not had to graft and suffer and perform under real pressure at a club in the lower side of things, a relegation side like Eddie Howe, for example. Eddie Howe took Bournemouth from bankruptcy, nearly getting relegated to the National League. Again, they would have gone bankrupt. He took them, kept them up in the fourth tier, got them promoted again, and again. Spent a year or two in the Championship, got promoted again. Had to battle relegation for about 4 or 5 years, except one of them where he finished a top 10 with Bournemouth. Eddie Howe knows what it's like in the trenches. He can't do this fancy experimental nonsense that Arteta thinks he can do because he has never had to suffer. He has never had the life of a club in his trusted hands as a manager of it. That's pressure. And especially with your fan base not applying pressure at Arsenal to win the title, he does not have to perform because there's always an excuse for him. If Bournemouth go bankrupt, that's on your soul for the rest of your life. Keep in mind, Eddie Howe played at Bournemouth for a while. So that's going to – you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Arteta should go to a lower league La Liga side or wherever he would like to and find out what it's like to suffer. Find out what it's like to deal with a limited budget and a squad that he has to make the most out of. Sir Alex Ferguson had to start with St. Mirren in the second tier. Arsene Wenger did not start at a top-tier club as his first job. He is not Pep Guardiola, who gets to start out of Barcelona. Arteta is not that. He's just not. Arteta will not succeed at Arsenal. And overall, his career as a manager will not be a success until he has to go and graft at a lower-tier club.
Well, we were talking about this earlier, and then I'm going to go through the comments, and maybe we can go on this. Yeah, no, that's a good point. So we got our combined 11 here for everybody following along. It was Pope, Byrne, Pope at goalkeeper, Byrne at left, center backs Gabriel and Botman, right back White, midfield three at Partey, Gimmerish, and Odegaard, Martinelli on the left, Saka on the right, and Isak up top. I think that's pretty good.
I'll take 5 out of 6 any day of the week. Oh my God!
Well, the way you guys are playing, how can we not give that to
We're
you?
irresistible.
How can we not give that to you? Yeah. All right. So through some of these comments real quick.
Yeah.
Jaminia says Jesus is a better player, but Isak is the better striker.
Striker.
It really depends on the day, though. At the same time, I mean, Jesus was shocking last night. I thought so, or on Friday night. Florian, when he needs to come back over the summer, needs to get it over Jesus. I don't know if I agree with that. It's different. It's different. Yeah, Florian Bellerin.
One question: would it be bad to put Trossard at striker?
No. That's a decent idea.
8 goals, 9 assists.
No, not at all.
Pray there for Brighton.
He should have done it for Southampton, Conor. That would have been the perfect game for him.
True.
Wait a sec. Is Trossard? Hold on, I completely forgot. Oh my God, does Trossard get in over Martinelli in that combined 11?
No.
Is there a case to be made?
There's a case. I think there's a case there, but go ahead. Go ahead, Conor.
In terms of this season, because obviously he joined us in January. If maybe he joined us in the summer, maybe I'd have a different opinion. But if we're talking about this season, if we're talking about this season, then yeah, it would be Martinelli.
My thoughts on Martinelli is that he's so – sorry, Conor. Go ahead.
No, the only reason I mentioned Trossard was he did play striker a couple of games for Brighton, but then again, it's Arsenal here. So, yeah, I get your point.
By the way, do you guys agree with me? Do you guys agree with me about the Arteta thing, by the way?
I think with Arteta, it's more of a case of – like, the likes of Real Madrid want him right. I would – listen, Arteta could leave Arsenal and go to a smaller side. By all means, he could. In my opinion, he's had experience under one of the most esteemed managers currently in the world of football. He should have enough knowledge to maybe not Arsenal, but he should have enough knowledge to take a team, maybe even like a Newcastle at the moment, to really take them up high. In my opinion. Listen, if Arteta goes ahead and wins the Premier League, that's all you need on your contract or whatever it is on your CV. Sorry, you've won one of the biggest trophies in league football in all the world. And I think having that on your CV would be a massive thing. However, if he doesn't win it and he will stay next season. As much as some people want him to leave, he will be here next season. So let's just face the facts. He will be. Eddie will be here. They will all still be here. If we go next season and we do not if we do not do exactly what we've done again this season, but instead win it, if we don't win it this season, then he has to leave. And if I was Arteta, completely agree with you, Steve, maybe not low, but I would go to a low mid-table side and build a career. Because it's the same thing for every young manager. It's the same thing for Steven Gerrard. It's the same thing for Frank Lampard. They left these teams in the lower divisions where they were doing so well, progressing so well as managers. And as soon as they see the money and as soon as they see all Premier League side, they jump for it and it ruins them. And it's proven it with Gerrard and Lampard. These young managers aren't giving themselves enough time to really build a career. So if that happens with Arteta, I completely agree with you, Steve. He should be going to a team, maybe mid-table, in whatever league he wants to go to, and really build himself a career, because that's what he needs to do as a manager. If he's going to fail at Arsenal, that's what he's got to be doing. But if he succeeds, then by all means, you take your career and start maybe because Real Madrid apparently won it. But
one thing too, Conor, I wanted to say too is Arteta obviously played at Everton under Moyes for several years. Yeah. Moyes, 50, almost 60 years old, goes to Real Sociedad, right? Gets them up, I think, into the top 6 or 7 places. Stays at Real Sociedad, gets experience, learns the craft, comes back. Yeah, West Ham isn't, the team that they think they are, right? But look, if we give David Moyes Arsenal, I'm not saying he could do a job. I'm not saying he would win us a title, but he would have those players drilled and ready every single weekend. And that's what I think is missing. It's some of the motivation, but I don't think Arteta has them drilled. Like Roy Hodgson, Crystal Palace, drilled in on what they're supposed to do. Eddie Howe, drilled in on what they're supposed to do. Pep, etc. Mourinho. I think that Arteta tells them stuff, and it kind of goes in one ear a bit and out the other, and then they look lost out there. And also I want to throw in there the big cock-up. In reality, what should have happened is, since Arteta was at Everton for so long, he should have gone to Everton to start his career, and Ancelotti should have came to Arsenal to continue the pedigree that Wenger left, right, which was a pedigree, and continue the old school professor manager system. Wenger to Ancelotti was the move when Wenger left. And we and all cocked up with Crosby in them, and Arteta spoke a good game, and that's how he got the position. In a real world, Arteta should have gone to Everton, and Ancelotti should have come to Arsenal. That's I will die by that. And
I agree.
Mistakes the club made.
I agree. And Dal, sorry I didn't mean to interrupt you there. It's freaking my internet's in and out. All right, I want to get Manny's take on this one. This one's an interesting question. I know the answer, but I want to toss it over to Manny. I want to toss it over to Manny on this one. Manny, would you sack Arteta if Xabi Alonso would move over?
Well, I mean, it depends on what exactly he's done with Bayer Leverkusen right now. We can say that he certainly had some experience of managing in a top division, but how well has he exactly done? So if it was Ancelotti, I'd say yes. If it was the only experienced manager I wouldn't have over Arteta is Jose Mourinho. I don't care how many trophies he's won. I consider the guy to be nothing more than a pot stirrer who actually leaves his clubs even worse off than they were. He may win a trophy in his first a season or two, but then it'll all go to pot when he falls out with his players or someone involved, and it'll all end in tears. It's happened at so many of his English clubs. I mean, he's managed at Chelsea, United, and Tottenham, I believe. It also happened at Real Madrid, completely his own doing. He wanted to be the in-your-face manager who would literally poke opposing coaches in the eye. What an absolute numpty. And so no, I wouldn't have Mourinho. And so back to the question, no, I wouldn't replace Arteta with Xabi Alonso, because I'd like to see Alonso continue his apprenticeship with Leverkusen and continue to do what he can over there, and then try and achieve something, and then we can continue. I mean,
Arsenal, his own thing.
All right, Manny, exactly, and then let's go to Conor.
Exactly. So let's just take a look at what Klopp did. Klopp was allowed to, get more and more experience in the Bundesliga. He won the Bundesliga twice with Dortmund, and then he came to Liverpool. That is the level of experience that we should be looking to go for, the level of accomplishment that we should be looking to go for once you've served your apprenticeship. And to get someone as unproven as Xabi Alonso would be out of the frying pan into the fire. And that means that if Patrick Vieira were to ask for a job, I'd say, sorry, Paddy, we want you to continue to prove yourself. We don't want to make the same mistake with you that we're making with Arteta.
Conor.
Yeah, no, back on that point of Xabi Alonso, he's building a name for himself. It's the same story. If he moves to Arsenal, in my opinion, I wouldn't even take him at Arsenal because it's the same story. If we get a new manager, I'm sick of this new manager. We need a profound winner.
Yes.
We need a winner. We're Arsenal Football Club. We're not we're not a rebuilding side, man. Like, come off it. Like, we're literally one of the biggest clubs in England. Like, I've had enough of it. You don't see Eric Ten Hag, proven winner. You know, he's won. I know it's only the Eredivisie. You can say what you want. He's literally got them to 2 finals in his first season, people. 2 finals. They could do the double. If they really turn up against City, they could do the double. And if we do not win the Premier League title, and either way, United have had a better season than us. I don't care if it's the Carabao Cup. They've got a trophy. The whole point of, and I love it when Lee Gunner says this, the whole point of football, or just competition, is to win. Is to win the titles. I don't care if it's a lousy Carabao Cup. We haven't won the Carabao Cup in ever. How long? It's ridiculous. I don't care if it's Carabao Cup. We should be winning these trophies. You know, not shoving them away because we want to focus on the league. That's worked out well now, hasn't it? We threw away that Europa League, TJ. Oh, yeah, it's fine. We'll focus on the league. It's all right. It's gone well now, hasn't it? Yeah, that was Arteta's plan, wasn't it? And it's just ridiculous. And if we walk out of this season with no trophies and United have been behind us, they've had the better season. I don't care if we're second. I don't care if we've built as a squad. We were 8 points clear. 8 points clear of this Man City team, and we've completely wrecked it. Yes, Arteta. I'll give kudos to Arteta. The fact that this is our best run of a season in how many seasons? Honestly, it's been great. The football's been great, but at the end of the day, we've had all this time. We've been in all these competitions, and we've flunked one after the other, after the other, after the other. 4 competitions. And we've won the most FA Cups out of any team. That's our tournament. And we can't even get past the 3rd and 4th round. I don't care if it was Man City. We've beaten them before. Why can't we do it again? You know? It is what it is.
It goes back to, like Manny said, carpe diem. You have to seize the day. Mm-hmm. When you get up in the morning and put that kit on, carpe fucking diem. Manny hit it on the nail 3 or 4 days ago. You have to go out there and seize the day. And again, I go back to Friday. We looked limp. We looked limp out there, you know? And it's so embarrassing that we can't just grab, you know, the bull by the horns and get the ball in the back of the net without conceding. We're the 3rd highest conceding club. That's not title winning. That's not a title winning run at all. Yeah, they're at home. The 3rd highest goals conceded at home. So Xabi Alonso, he needs to go learn his trade in Germany. We need, like Conor said, prestigious winners. I would take a Simeone right now. I would take Ancelotti. I would throw as much money as Zinedine Zidane as possible. He'll never come to Arsenal. But, you know, let's get like our man Spencer here. We have to be realistic on the replacement. Get rid of Arteta and bring in another, like Patrick Vieira? I mean, who's really available? Who wants to pick up this mess anyway?
Well, go. See, did you have anything you wanted to say on this subject? And then I want to introduce our next guest on TJ Warren TV. Making his first appearance on TJ Warren TV, we have Eugene from Inspiration TV. How are you, Eugene?
How am I? You asking me how am I? My God.
Read the room, TJ. Read the room.
How many fingers do I have up?
Doubt. That's out of order. Listen, I know he's the first man, but we need to treat everyone with respect, all right? Please calm down. Wind your necks in. Welcome him.
Eugene, welcome to TJ Warren TV, and I just want to give you the floor, man. Why don't you just tell us how you're feeling? Just the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah. I guess Steve knows how I'm feeling at the moment, right? He was with me on
happy, joy.
He's happy, joy, right? Now, to tell the truth, right, being a Spurs fan for nearly 40 over years, right? I've been quite zen about our owners and all the shit, right? But at the moment now, I feel damn ashamed, right? Really, really ashamed because our players just didn't turn up, right? I don't even think they wanted to be on the pitch, right? They must they shouldn't even be in Newcastle to tell the truth to play that game, right? The way it turned out, within 20 minutes, we conceded 4 goals. What the hell was that all about, right? And I don't even understand how can our fan base accept this kind of performance, right? All these times that what has been happening, we've been taking it in, and I'm sure most of you guys around here know that I'm a big Levy outer, right? I think I'm the biggest Asian Levy outer or Asian Levy outer, right? Yeah, right. But I just can't accept this. I mean, it's so unacceptable for what has happened to this club that we have, right? And it's not to just say that we lost, right? It's the way that we lost. You get what I'm saying? No, there was no fight, there was no heart, there was no cohesiveness, and we just folded over and became fodder for Newcastle. You know, and
it could have been 10.
Yeah,
we missed a few chances.
Yeah, it should have been 10, right?
Yeah.
If it was 10, right, Spurs would be holding the new Premier League record for being, for letting the most goals in. We even beat Southampton at that, right? But sad to say, our owners are still the same. They ain't changing, right? They sacked Conte while he was in top 4 position, which was the most understandable. You can't understand why they did that, right? Of course, we understood that what he said, instead of backing the manager, like Arsenal fans, you should know that, right? Manny, DJ, and the rest of the guys, you should know that by backing the manager, right? Because to tell the truth, if you guys have listened to the Arteta out, right, Arteta wouldn't have been here now, okay? But we now where you are, but of course, Arsenal's at the top of the table. We are 20, 30 points behind you guys, right? And you're going for a title, but you do have some of your wobbles at the moment, right? It's football. It is what it is. As the season ends, right? Injury takes their toll. Fatigue comes in. The World Cup was somewhere in the middle of the season, right? And I guess you have your toll. We have our toll, but our toll looks way much worse because in their day, with that performance at Newcastle, I don't even see us winning any of our balance of our games left.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't even see that. We're going to struggle. And with the injuries we have, we've lost our defense, right?
Yeah.
Today, Stellini made a brilliant move, right? Two at the back, right? With Dyer, okay? Which we know Dyer can play 2 at the back. And with 2 wing backs as full-backs, which can't defend, all I can say is, congratulations, welcome to Tottenham Hotspur, while the shit show still continues. And no.
I got a question.
Yeah, go, Dal. Hit him.
So, Eugene, with all that said, who do you build? What players in the squad currently do you build around for next year?
Burn them all.
No, I would bin them all as well.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
burn them all. Because you know why? Because to tell the truth, right? If I want to say the players that I want to keep, like players like Son, Kane, Romero, Kulu, right? Okay, even now let's say Bissouma is injured, Bentancur is injured. Whether they come back, will they be able to carry on that movement? You won't, because to tell the truth, with the core that we have, it's not enough to actually rebuild. You also burn them all, sell them all, right? But to tell the truth, with our owners and the record that we have, right, we will sell them and we get even shittier players.
You think you spent the Gareth Bale money wisely?
Oh, they pissed away that and the Modric money. They got one good player out of both of those.
Okay. Let's go. Out of the Bale money, the only thing that came out was Eriksen.
Yes.
Out of the 7 players, Eriksen. That's all. The rest of it, nah.
Dross.
That's long ago. That's long ago. Yeah.
Right. Imagine, okay, it's so simple. If you sold Bale at that time, 85 million pounds, right? We could have spent like 20 million pounds, 20 million pounds, 20 million pounds, right? And get 4 top class players, because at that time, 20 million pounds is like something now 50 million to 60 million pounds value, right? And that is considered top, not saying world class, right? Not saying elite,
a damn good player.
Top class player.
Two or
right?
three good ones.
Two or three top class players are coming now. We don't do that. We buy 7 gross players. Oh yeah, guys, you keep forgetting. Spurs recruitment plan is we buy them young. We hope that they progress and they can earn us a profit. So that's where we are at. Right? That's what even Conte came out to say. My vision is this. The club's vision is this.
It's something different, right?
Yeah. So it's not my vision. They are not meeting my vision. That's why in the end of the day, after the World Cup, right, Conte couldn't even get a contract signed. His extension wasn't confirmed, right? And there were rumors saying that was he even offered an extension, right? Maybe his demands were too high. That's why the club didn't even want to give him an extension. That's why when in January came along, right, it took us 30 days plus 8 to 12 hours just to sign Pedro Porro. And before that,
just to play him
Hold on. Go ahead, keep going. Just in case we can't get the Porro deal over the line, just get a Denhuma from Everton, right? Go and hijack Everton.
I don't mean to laugh, Eugene. I mean, it is comical. I mean, we went through something similar with Mudryk. We couldn't get him over the line. We were linked to him for so long, and then we bottled that. Thank goodness. But I mean, it is really, really frustrating to see yourselves linked to these people, and then you're not able to get it over the line, or you're able to get it over the line like last second when it should have been like incredibly
PJ,
easy.
It reminds me of another club in North London. It reminds me of another club that's up in North London. You know. Yeah. All the same story, isn't it?
Well, no, that's why I titled it. Conor,
but Conor, we are famous for that. Jack Grealish, Bruno, right? We're so famous for that, right? It's always in the last minute, the extra £5 million that our owners don't want to pay, right? Yeah. And it goes under Sadio Mane, right? All the names that you can name that the managers wanted those players is because of the extra few million that we ain't going to pay. Right, and to tell the truth, the worst part is that our defense, right? To tell the truth, no matter what we do now, right, our defense is shit. Okay, that's my biggest worry. No matter what we do, we can go out and score. We can go out and score 3 goals, right? And we will let in 6.
Yeah.
So what are we gonna do?
Romero's been a huge letdown, hasn't he? I mean, Chris Romero has been a letdown.
To tell the truth, I'm starting to have my doubts about Romero because I've got a funny feeling because you see when Conte got sacked, when Conte came out with his outburst and all that, right? After that, Richarlison came out with a statement, something like, I wasn't part of the mutiny. So when you say mutiny, that means there were a group of them trying to do something about it, right? So. I guess that group of players, the only few that I will count out is maybe the injured players and maybe Son and Kane. Right? Maybe Son and Kane. Yeah, big up. Right.
All right.
Maybe Son and Kane.
Yep. All right, real quick, and then I want to keep this going because this is an incredible conversation. It's honestly an honor to have Eugene on here. So real quick, make sure that you're subscribing to everybody on this panel. Conor, obviously, Conor, if you have to leave here in 5, let's go ahead and why don't you shout out your channel real quick, and thank you so much for helping me co-host this call-in. We're probably going to go for about another 45 minutes, guys, and then we're going to hop off because I know the rest of the streams for the evening are going to kick off. So again, thanks for coming on, Conor, and just shout out your stuff real quick.
Yeah, no worries. Always happy to come on. I do editing, so I've done editing for a couple of the guys on the show. So TJ,
and you're pretty good at it.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't like to get cocky, but people like my work. So yeah, I do editing work. So I'm a freelance editor on the side of my actual job, and I've done stuff for people's social medias on YouTube and Twitter and everywhere. So yeah, if you ever feel like you need some editing work done for your channels or anything like that, feel free to message me on the Instagram below here. I'm about to do work for Mr. B for life. He's gonna open up a YouTube channel about Brentford, so I'm gonna start working with him on that. But yeah, that's where you can find me, and I love coming on these shows. And I have a YouTube channel, but I don't use it. I just come on here, voice my opinion, and have a load of fun with it. So big up to the panel. Been a great conversation today, and TJ, big up yourself as well, man. Really great show.
Yeah. Again, thanks, Conor, and we'll be in touch. All right.
100%. Right, cheers, guys. I'll catch you later.
Right, cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Again, everybody. You see this excellent panel. If you're still in the chat, if you're watching on playback, smash a like first of all. Second of all, subscribe to all of these gentlemen. All right, so let's keep. I want to keep the conversation going about Spurs, because this is it's such a weird dichotomy of what I see going on, and having Eugene here, I don't ever get to directly question a Spurs expert like you. So Eugene, my question is what do Spurs fans have to do to get a change of ownership that is absolutely direly needed for Spurs to have any sort of chance at future success that isn't like mediocre, like top 4, drop out of the Champions League, start it all over again?
Burn the stadium down. No, seriously. What Spurs fans got to do, right? To tell the truth, guys, we're considered part of the Big Six, right? Correct. But we don't protest like the Big Six, right? When you guys protest, you have thousands of fans out there going crazy, right? We're even talking about Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, right? You guys come out in the thousands, in the hundreds, right? When we protest, it's like what, 50, 80? So at this moment, I think our Spurs fans have not reached that breaking point yet. But a lot of us, I think today, will more or less have reached that breaking point, right? Because like you guys, I've told you guys earlier, I'm one of the biggest Levy outers in Asia, right? Mm-hmm. And we do have our connections in the rest of the world, and of course in the UKs and all that, right? And I'm sure Manny has been on a lot of my shows, right? He knows a lot of them that he's been doing with me, right? But the sad part is that it's not enough of them, because a lot of the Spurs fans on social media will always do the social media thing. Yeah, leave it in, leave it out, blah, blah, blah. He's this, he's that, And sometimes for me, it's that I don't want to go to turn it into hate, right? Because it's just football, right? But the thing is that sometimes it's pushing me to the brink of thinking maybe we have to look at a different angle at this moment, because the way that we're trying to do this in a nice, polite, civilized way, the message ain't getting through, right? Maybe certain things have to turn around. That's why I said burn the stadium down. That's all, right? Like today, I've been on a few shows, right? Everyone on Thursday in the Manchester United match, right? Bring a match stick, right? Just light it and show the owners, burn it down, right? Burn it down. Mm-hmm. Because what else can we do? Our fan base are all pussies.
Agreed. I mean, and here's the thing that a lot of the fan base won't stand, I think, on the Spurs side, and I know for a fact that Levy won't handle is kind of going the way that Arsenal went with accepting, quote unquote, accepting we were rioting and wanted Arteta out and Kroenke out, but accepting mid-table finishes and outside of Europe place finishes in order to build something greater. And right now, Arsenal is seeing things that are greater. Again, it's not to my standards because we aren't going to win the league. But in terms of improvement, you have to say that there has been some improvement. Would Spurs fans and would Levy ever consider a project like that? And what would it take for him to do it?
No, but TJ, you must understand, even though you've been out of Europe, right, along this period of time, you've won at least 3 or 4 FA Cups. You get what I'm saying? What have we got? You get what I'm saying? We've been 15 years after the 2008 League Cup trophy that we've had, right? 15 years, we've won nothing. Yeah, we come close, right? of nearly winning the league when Leicester won it. My God, we lost the league to Leicester. You imagine that, right? But at least during that time, during Poch, we showed fight, right? 2019, we reached the Champions League final out of the blue, right? Somehow of scraping through draws, beating Man City, coming back to beat Ajax, right, and reaching the finals, just not to turn up. You see, right? And there were so many stories behind that final. Is that people the stories behind saying that I think Poch didn't want to play Kane because Kane was injured, but the club had to play Kane because Kane was the poster boy for Spurs, right? And Kane wanted to play because it's the final, right? And he wasn't 100% fit, but he still wanted to play. So in that day, of course, what happened, we knew we lost 2-0. And of course, the dubious handball that was given against Sissoko and blah, blah, blah. It is what it is, right? In that day, it's still zilch. That's all. Yeah. It's still zilch, right? But at least Arsenal along the way, 8th, or whatever, along the way, you still got, imagine Arteta, first season, wins the FA Cup, right? I'm sure you guys never expected that too, right? Right? You never expected Arteta to win the FA Cup. No. Yeah, but he did, right? So we have to give kudos to him. At least he's won something, right? Since Poch left, we've had Mourinho sacked 6 days before a cup final. And our fan base accepts that. Oh, it's okay, bring in Mason, right? We love Mason. He's Ryan Mason. Okay, then that's not more funnier than that, right? Took us 72 days, right, to get in Nuno. Okay, all right, Nuno's here, but Mason goes back into the youth setup. Okay, Nuno comes in. He's gonna make us proud. Yeah, I remember that season, right? We won 3 games in a row. We were the top, and you guys were at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Those fans were celebrating, and all of a sudden we went on to a 10-game streak of not having a shot on goal, and after that losing to Manchester United. Levy out chance came out. Yeah, it's the last time. Levy's last chance, right? He brings in Conte. His back is against the wall. He must support him. If he doesn't support Conte is going to throw everybody under the bus. Blah, blah, blah. What happens? Conte throws everybody under the bus. He gets sacked too. And now we're back to Stellini. And don't forget, Mason again. We have Mason again, right? And don't be surprised, right? If Monday comes along, Stellini gets sacked, right? Mason will take over again.
I was about to bring that up. Ryan Mason taking Spurs through the rest of the season as if Stellini, as if he's going to be able to change anything. And what you saw today is probably what Ryan Mason would have done. I wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't Ryan Mason's idea because Stellini kept Conte ball going, or at least the best he could. So okay. Luke,
James, I tell you, right? Yeah. I've got this funny prediction, right? If Chelsea gets Poch, right? Harry Kane is going to Chelsea.
Oh, you're probably spot on too.
Harry Kane's going to Bayern Munich, bro.
No. Harry Kane leaves England.
No, Harry Kane ain't going to even leave London. His missus is pregnant. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Chelsea have just about every player possibly they could find.
But they don't have a striker.
They've never had a good striker, right? That's true.
So if Poch goes to Chelsea, right, Harry Kane is number one target to go to Chelsea. I'm going to say that straight up. And I've been saying that since the season where Harry Kane threw his, where he said he wanted to leave. But everybody's saying that he's going to go to Man City, blah, blah, blah. I was saying that if Roman, that time Roman was still around, right? If Roman threw 250 million at Daniel Levy, Harry Kane will say adios.
Yeah,
but that never happened.
Yeah,
I think there's Eugene. I think you're spot on about if Chelsea get Poch, Kane goes there.
Yeah,
I think you are spot on. Hey, you know what? You know where Harry Kane could also end up that people are not really thinking about?
Yeah, Newcastle.
Do any of you guys see him going to Newcastle possibly?
Manny, you want to answer that question? You haven't talked in a minute. I want to give you a chance to speak here. Do you think where do you think Man would he land at Newcastle, or where do you think Harry Kane would go if he left Spurs?
If he left Spurs, as far as I'm concerned, he probably would end up probably not going to Newcastle, because the question is with the strikers they've got, where exactly would Kane fit in? I also think I don't know if I could necessarily see him playing for another Premiership club. So if PSG want him, he could go over there. Maybe he could experience the thrill of winning a title. He could always go to Scotland, like Joe Hart did.
Or you go to Celtic and guarantee win titles, right?
Yes, I told you that's exactly what Joe Hart
Harry
did.
Kane would score about 900 goals in the SPFL. I like watching Scottish Premiership because it's rough and tumble and stuff, but my God, Harry Kane would torch that league alive. Oh.
Absolutely. So
he'll do that when he's like 37 or something.
Yes, I wouldn't see Kane staying joining another Premiership club, and the reason why I've been quiet is because obviously I've been very eager to let all of you sort of partake at it.
All right.
You know what? I actually think there might be a chance, and this might be complete nonsense, but think about it. Newcastle and Spurs have both shared some wonderful footballers between the two of them. Gascoigne, Ginola. You've got Sissoko. You've got.
It's been always one way, right?
Help me out, Eugene. Another footballer, good footballer that played for Spurs and Newcastle. I'm trying to think.
A current one, brother, Trippier.
Trippier, bam, you're right. I knew that was
Trippier,
I don't know how they know that. Trippier
was via A Madrid.
Right. I bet
don't forget Les Ferdinand.
Yes, Les Ferdinand. So to be fair, there are a lot of Newcastle and Spurs players that have played for both sides. So Harry Kane could.
Right, Prince what?
Jermaine Genius. There you go, Prince Fudd. There you go.
But in their day, right? At the moment now, of course, a lot of people are saying, right, what is Harry Kane's price tag, right? Because Levy won't let him go for at least 100 mil. I'm sure of that, right? Who is going to fork out 100 mil for a player who's got 1 year left on his contract? He's in his 30s, right? The only owner that will do something like that is the Chelsea owner. I see that. He's the only one who will do something like that, right? If the manager really wanted him, then he will go all out to try again. That's how I see it. If not, I don't think Manchester United will fork out 100 million for him. Newcastle maybe, but will Eddie Howe need him? Or you?
True.
But will Eddie Howe need him? Because Eddie Howe now has got Isaac, right? And who else? Who else do you have? Joelinton, Almiron, right? Your forward. I mean, Joelinton is more in the midfield.
Callum Wilson.
Then Callum Wilson, right? Unless Harry Kane is coming in to replace Callum Wilson, that's one way you can see it, right? But at the moment now, in that day, I'm more afraid that he's going to get tied down another year, and he might even go on a free. If he goes on a free, right, and if you don't cash in on him, then I think that is a real dumb thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta head out. By the way, lovely speaking with all of you, Manny, TJ, Eugene, Oregon Gooner. Y'all are awesome.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Steve.
Yeah, of course. Take care, people. Take care.
Take care. All right, we got two in the back. We're going to get on for the last 20-ish minutes here. We're going to go for 20 more minutes, and then we can talk about Harry Kane. We can talk about whatever. But now let's bring in, making his TJ Warren TV debut, a brother of mine that I haven't actually met, but he is a fan of the right American football team, and he is the fan of the right hockey team, joining TJ Warren TV for the first time. Spencer, what's up, my man? Spencer.
What's going on, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Loud and clear.
Awesome. This is the first time I've ever done one of these. I kind of mostly just kind of listen and interact in the chat room and everything. And Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
I'm kind of enjoying it. So nice day out here in Virginia. It's been a rough weekend though. After thinking about what happened Friday, I don't want to open up old wounds or anything, but man, I know a lot of people have been angry and everything, but I've just been disappointed. But that Tottenham score today, it got me perked right back up, man. I'm telling you. I know it's not going to probably make a difference for us in the long run, but man, we just needed that pickup, and I'm kind of really shocked the way the last 3 games have gone. I'm not really sure exactly how. I know a manager. This is that dynamic in sports of whether you have that killer instinct or not. I just don't think we have players that have killer instinct. And I don't think there's anything Arteta can do about it. I don't know if there's any manager that can make some of these guys killers. I don't know. I mean,
do you need Harry Kane?
No, we don't want Harry Kane here. We don't want Harry Kane here. Also joining us, by the way, and then Spencer, you can continue.
We got Minerals.
We got Minerals FC. We got Minerals. Minerals, up
Yeah,
the Minerals.
man, big up lads, man. And big up Spencer, man. My geezer, man, supported the right club, but unfortunately they're not making us too happy. But like I don't like glorifying finishing second, because again it's too boring. Like, this sounds unpopular, but I rather finish where if we finish 5th but win the trophy, rather than finishing second and winning nothing, because second, it's basically the same thing as finishing 5th, second, because you don't get anything. But what I can say is up to Minerals, and we just need to see what happens on Wednesday, man.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, you guys are playing City on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, and Spencer brought up a really good point. I want to go back to Spencer because I want to give him a chance to talk. First time on YouTube. I mean, he's absolutely killing it so far. Spencer, we don't have the killer mentality, and if it's not Arteta's fault, I mean, is it just the players that Edu's bringing in? Like, what do you think is the solution to the problem, if you've thought about that before?
So I actually have. I was thinking about this. I've coached a little bit more in the youth level, and it's really, and it really doesn't really correlate to this because these are obviously paid professionals, but it's really how you set the team up. It's who Edu and them are bringing in. So if you look at our transfer policy over the last 3 years, we've started bringing in younger players. And the problem with younger players is you're buying potential. You're not buying actual good players. You're buying guys. You're doing a forecast. So I think Fabio Vieira is going to be at this level in about a couple of years. So the problem with that is, like, we're hitting on 50% of these guys. And the reality is we should be buying players that are just a slightly bit older, like the Declan Rice age. So we can go battle with a team like Man City. And I know AFTV, I don't know how people feel about that. I'm not really trying to bring them into this, but I listened to Troop's interview on Friday night, and he talked about there not being a linchpin in the team and a guy that's just the leader. And I think that's 100% accurate. Like, and I go back to the Amazon documentary. Odegaard's the captain, but I never heard him once speak during the whole documentary, which was weird. So he's the captain, but he doesn't even feature in the documentary. I mean, I get it's a Hollywood documentary and everything, but I mean, for me,
Spencer wasn't the captain. I don't think that season. I think it was Xhaka.
Xhaka? Okay.
Yeah. I think.
No, that actually was that was the season when, I believe, if memory serves me right, Aubameyang started the season as captain, but had it stolen from him, and then he left. And then I think Odegaard was named as Aubameyang's replacement.
That's right. My fault.
Yep, correct. Minerals, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say that we're missing too much of our chances, and yes, Arteta is to blame for us not being concentrating and not grinding out results. That's what I blame. But I want to blame him for Saka missing silly chances, missing sitter, and missing penalties and so forth. But I blame him for consistently picking him when he's been on dodgy form. Yeah, he scored yesterday, but it's not enough. But I also have a problem with fans, with some certain fans. Like, I respect their opinion, but again, it's that every time you hit a slump, certain fans want to feel vindicated. that their agenda is up, and like that's my only regret with the situation.
No, I agree. I agree with you 100%. Go ahead, Spencer.
I think he's right on that because I know for me, like I haven't truly believed we're going to win the league. There's been moments where I'm like, all right, I can see this team doing it. But I also see, like, you're watching the game and, like, take the West Ham game, for example. Most of us have been watching soccer for a while. And, like, when a team's not going to score, like, you can tell, like, it's just not happening today. And all I can think about is the people that just have the agenda. And, and I understand having a standard and everything. And this football club has a massive history and everything. But I just see the progression of the team. And I'm not satisfied with second place. I'm not. But when I see 5th to 8th to 8th to 2nd, and we look more competitive with teams, we're going toe-to-toe with Liverpool and not getting smashed around, I think you almost have to stay the course. I know losing the title is going to be painful, and it's going to be a painful summer if it happens. But I think the future is bright. It's just the way I look at it with Arsenal, and that's just my opinion on that. So I know some people feel differently and everything, and Jazz and all these other guys have been around the club for 30, 40, 50 years. I see the future's bright with Arsenal right now. That's what I see.
I agree. I agree with you. All right, real quick, and because Eugene has to go. It is literally 4:30 a.m. where he is. So Eugene, I just want to say again, thank you so much for coming on and calling in. Let's do a show together soon. That's a little bit more targeted. It's really been fun getting your perspective on Spurs. So go ahead and shout your channels out again. And again, thank you very, very much.
Yep. Thanks for having me on, TJ. Right. Big up to Manny. Manny, I'm sure I'm going to see you tomorrow, Manny.
You will. I'll make sure that my schedule's free just for you.
We have to do some collaboration sometime or another. Right. Big up to the rest of the guys, Mineral, Spencer, and
Oregon Guna.
And right, guys. Take care. Thanks for having me on. Right, tomorrow I'll be doing a show on Spurs Vision TV, 3 p.m. UK time. Most probably I'll be having Manny will be on, Steve will be on, plus 2 Malaysian Newcastle fans going to be on, Uncle Rod's going to be on, Keshav is going to be on, and I guess I'm going to get a lot of rubbing in tomorrow.
Listen, one thing, Eugene, listen, you know me very well. One thing which you will never get from me is rubbing in, because I tell you one thing. Karma can be a real, female canine. But, So that's one of the reasons why Eugene loves having me on, because he knows that although I am an Arsenal fan, I come in peace, I come with respect, and I do not. Last thing I ever want to do is engage in any kind of banter, because remember, guys. Whatever you give out, it may come back to you even double. We read what we sow.
I'm gonna put a pin in that. I'm gonna put a pin in that, Manny, because I want to talk about something like that. So Eugene, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll tune into that show tomorrow.
All right, take care. We'll do some collaboration, DJ. All right, take care.
Absolutely.
Bye.
All right.
Have a great show. Bye.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, all right. I'm gonna go for another probably about 15 minutes, guys, and then I'm gonna take a break because, I've been at it all day. Whether it's been flying or streaming or whatever. But I want to go back to a point that you made, Manny, is that what's tough about this YouTube thing sometimes, and this is why I think I'm respectful most of the time. I would say. I'll banter a little bit. I'll make fun of some people, like, Prince. Me and him have some back and forth sometimes. But one of the most frustrating things about not only being an Arsenal fan, but just being a football fan on YouTube in general, and putting your face out there, is just absolutely eating it for what other fans say. Where you're just kind of like, hey, I was just a guy that was like here being like sane. But you're going to like rub it in. You know what I mean? That's what I've really found has been so frustrating, and obviously I went off on this after we drew to West Ham, just being like, we're going to get bannered by Spurs fans. But the worst part is, it's like, we deserve it. We deserve it.
We do deserve it because we did deliver at the end of the day. But the point, there's also people in our fan base that every time we drop points this season, they feel vindicated. For agenda, and that's what I have a problem. I see that on Twitter a lot. You know what I mean? And I wanted to address that with you, Waza, and even with Oregon. That's my problem. I only have today.
Oregon, do you think that the fan base or a certain part of the fan base is a problem, especially for guys like you, me, Manny, obviously Spencer, because Spencer seems to have his head in the right place. I think we have the, and I'm not trying to big myself up too much, but I think we have the best interests of the club at heart, while wanting to compete and wanting to achieve. We kind of keep it in between the lines, except for when they don't perform. So what do you think? I guess my question is, what do you think of social media and its like very, very loud influence on the team, on I guess the whole Arsenal fan base, and is it splitting us up? Is it more positive than negative? I know I'm kind of going in a lot of different directions, but I kind of want to end on this because I think it's been personally frustrating me, honestly.
Yeah, the social media part that I don't like is when they're all at training together and they're all got their hands around each other, smiling for the camera, and then we get Southampton at home. So I think there is quite a bit of a disconnect, especially too with the fans of social media. Like there's one side of the fans that are complicit in what is happening at the club, and they see it as, oh, it's just a blip, we'll be out of it, and so forth. We've had this blip for 19 years. We haven't won a title in 19 years, and that's something that myself and excuse me, Lee Gunner talks about, Del Boy, etc. It's like we feel deserving to win it, and we don't deserve anything really as a fan base, right?
Right.
So that deserving part of the club, that I remember from following Arsenal for 23 years or so, is that we always feel we're deserving. And number two is that we're always trying to find the next Henry. We are buying players that we think are going to be diamonds, and they turn out okay. I still think we're in the mentality of, you can even look at it with the Mudryk deal, is spending money on talent that really just hasn't really come to fruition. But the squad, of course, the excuse is that we're still young, which is kind of an excuse in itself, but it also makes sense. I feel like the club is just waiting for this diamond player to really turn everything around, or we're waiting for this diamond manager to just change everything for us. When in fact, the problem is within. The problem is within, because we still have this mentality that fourth is a trophy. And if we keep that mentality throughout, years to come, we're never going to accomplish anything. Because the fact of the matter is that we don't have the mentality and the leadership at the club that we've had before. We don't have a Wenger. We don't have David Dean. We don't have key players in key roles doing good things, right? Edu settled for Jorginho. We could have gotten, a litany of players. I can go on a list of 5, right? But what you're saying, TJ, about the social media, I do think there's a social media element that as long as we look good to the public and look like we're trying to win something and give the facade of that we're trying to win something, then the social media is just something we're going to have to balance out. Because the fact of the matter is that the Arsenal social media person is the one who's responsible for putting on the smiling faces and kowtowing to the AFTV crowd and not listening to folks like us who are wanting real strategic change, right?
Yeah.
There's no incentive for the Cronkies to really change anything. And like we said before, they don't understand football from a very depth level. They understand it from a financial level, but they don't understand it from a pride level, from a level of actually winning things and what that means in the sport. So I don't think we're going to get new owners, but until we get them focused on what we need as a club, they're going to proceed the same way they have, is just using Arsenal as another asset in their portfolio. So if we go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Spencer.
Well, no, so the Kroenke, so I hate to interrupt, but it's I'm just thinking so was the question like our social media team or like just fans in general? because I want to pivot to the Kroenke statement because I don't really prefer the Concretes, but I sit there and I think about what they've done with the Avs, what they've done with the Rams. I think they do want to win with Arsenal. I just don't think they know how.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's a lack of caring. I just think it's like it's not. And that's just me.
I get what you're saying. No, I agree with what you're saying. Maybe lack of caring isn't it. When I see that, when I think a lot of the fan base sees the Kroenkes as, Spencer, is Arsenal is just another asset in their portfolio. Yes, they want their portfolio to do well, right? Just like you want your investments to do well.
Naturally.
That the emphasis when they bought the club, right? Their pitch was that we're going to turn things around. We're going to get, a manager who's going to get us trophies, and we're going to get someone in. And when you make that pitch to the public, the fans eat that up because you're the freaking owners. So we got to go with what they say in some cases, And I do think people like Josh Kroenke cares, but I don't think that is, perpetual throughout the ownership. I think Josh is the only one that really kind of cares, and half the time he's not at games anyway. But
Josh is all about the Nuggets right now. I think Josh is,
The ownership doesn't affect our performance. It affects the players. Yeah. It's the performance I'm pissed off about. It's why can I see Newcastle just absolutely batter Tottenham and we go to Southampton and look like we're fucking lost? It's just that's where the disconnect is, and that has nothing to do with ownership, right? It doesn't. The Kroenkes don't affect the way we perform. Players do, but and we all know we didn't do enough in January. We didn't do enough in summer, but it's gone. The transfers are gone, so we only can look to next summer and to improve. And the social media thing, PJ. I mean, there's all types of ways to go into that, but I do think it's somewhat a disturbance, especially when I see him smiling like everything's okay, and we're in a fucking title run in, and we're getting beat to it.
I agree. And here's the thing that I it's a double-edged sword with the Kroenkes, Spencer. And I think you've been a fan of Colorado sports for a long time, so we've both suffered for a while, and had some good triumphs as well. But what the Kroenkes do, and I've said this before, is that they will struggle. They will allow a team to struggle and build from within, and then when the iron, they'll spend money. I mean, do you think? And this is maybe a question for Spencer. Do you think that maybe Josh and Stan just don't think that Arsenal are quite there yet to where, like, hey, we need to be spending the money? Because I think if we were going to be spending the money and splashing the cash to push us over the line, it would have been this winter window, and they didn't do it. So, with the Avalanche, right? We went out and got Jack Johnson. We went out and got, this is a hockey example. Back in the day,
Kadri.
Ray Burke, Kadri. We went out and got these players that were like, okay, this is enough edge. This guy's going to get us over the line. Do you think that maybe the Kroenkes just don't think that we're there yet at Arsenal?
I think that's a point, and I know it's gonna be, if people don't understand like the other sports, they're not going to understand that side of the discussion. I think you're right, and that's based on if we don't have Champions League football, how are you going to attract certain people? And I'm not saying the fourth is a trophy because I don't agree with any of that stuff. I think it's just crazy. But you have to have everything to attract players. Now, unfortunately, this is my thing with this, and that's why I love the academy players. What we've been able to do with the Smith Rowes, the Sakas, the Martinellis, and we can go on and on. Is you attract these mercenary types that are there for money and there for Champions League, and they don't have any love for the club. So there's that weird disconnect. But I think you are right to an extent. I mean, they have spent money. The question becomes, have they spent the money properly? And that's where 50-some million on Kivior, and I can't think of the other guy that I'm drawing a blank on it, but he's not really playing. But then Kivior, you throw him in at Anfield. That. There's just certain disconnects, and I think to go back to the Kroenkes, and we talked about ownership. Ownership sets culture, so then everything is about culture. A lot of times in American sports, talk about culture, and there is a lack of. So Edu and Arteta are still young. I think we are missing an older experience somewhere in that hierarchy that gets it. And I'm not saying that I think Arteta is probably going to end up being a great manager, and it may not work out at Arsenal. But I mean, I think you're right. I think absolutely is a disconnect there, and it's the culture. I think that's the culture, and I think the social media team is responsible. I think social media fans, like, it's all about banter, and I'm not a big fan of banter. Like, I made a joke about Spurs earlier, but that's just for fun. But at the end of the day, it does come around. You will lose another game. Like, it is going to happen. So
We're going to win it all, baby.
Hey, so let me ask you this, though. From a tactical aspect, how would you guys set the team up on Wednesday going to Man City, knowing you have to win now?
I would do tactically, I'd go 4-2-3-1. I wouldn't do a 4-3-3, and I would bring Jorginho in and have Jorginho and Partey in front of the back four because we need experience more than ever right now, and our normal three up front and Jesus up front. But I would bring Jorginho in and Partey and tell Jorginho, don't move past the halfway line. Only Partey can be box to box. Because we have to have some solidity from that back four. Rob, it's no coincidence that we've given up so many goals with Rob Holding as center back. And I'm not saying he's been absolute crap. He's doing what he can do. But that fucker had a smile on his face Friday after they scored a goal when he realized that some of it was on him and not marking the right man. And I hate blaming Rob Holding, but absolutely not good enough. You know, and we had chances to sell him, and that's another thing.
Yeah.
The players that are hungover from the Wenger years have to go. They just have to go. They've been at the club too long. And that's part of the mentality too, Spencer. That's hanging over the club. I say it again, is that fourth place is success, and that's a Wenger mentality hangover. That's a dark cloud over the Emirates. And until we have a real manager who can sort that out, and I don't think Arteta's the one because he's a Wenger guy, we're going to see some of the same. And I agree with you too. Arteta could go on to be a great manager, but when you're making the substitutions for a center attacking mid for Kiwior in a Liverpool game, really questioning your technical ability. And when we lost to Everton. And we had those couple draws against Brentford. We went, I think, 6 straight, Manny? 6 or 7 straight wins?
Yeah.
6 straight wins?
Yeah.
And now it's falling apart again. So maybe we pick ourselves up Wednesday, man. I truly believe if we play the best football we can get something Wednesday. Because I watched Sheffield United play them Saturday in FA Cup, and Sheffield United were all over them, but gave them a hell of a good fight for a good 20 to 30 minutes. And Sheffield United looked better against City than we did against Southampton on Friday.
Yep, they can be got at. That's the one thing that I want to say. And then, guys, real quick, I'm going to take it out, but I want to give Manny an opportunity to speak. Shout out his channels, and maybe if you guys want to give your starting 11 for Manchester City, we are going to do a preview probably tomorrow. I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure out. Jez, I want to figure out what's going to work for you as well. So. Everybody, last run around the horn. I just want to say thank you again, everybody, for joining. Manny, give us your take on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more than I can say that hasn't really been said, except, somebody mentioned the disconnect there. I believe it was Spencer, or whether it was Dal, I'm not too sure. But yeah, there is that sort of a disconnect because obviously, when it comes to the American sports, having been born and brought up on that side of the Atlantic, they're more invested in them. All the things we talk about, the pride, the passion, and so forth, you get that a lot with American sports as American sports fans. And having lived in Tampa Bay for 6 years, I was a passionate fan of the Buccaneers and the Lightning. Go Bolts, go Bucks. The Rays, never really got to see them play because they were out in St. Petersburg. But, whenever you go to the Amalie Arena or the Raymond James Stadium to catch either of those two teams play, you can see, I hear an echo. You can see the support and the pride that the fans have in their team. I think the difference is, though, that sometimes when it comes to American fans, and this isn't really a dig on you, is that you like teams that are winners. And I know that a lot of local love does come into this, but after a certain time, if a team doesn't win, it loses a lot of its fans. So I think, Arteta as a manager, he definitely needs to improve his judgment, his tactical know how he really needs to show that he's willing to learn from his mistakes. He can't keep making the same mistakes over and over again. So that is something that he has to try and do. But until he shows people that he's willing to learn from his mistakes and adopt a new approach, then he's just going to come across as, arrogant and stubborn and pig-headed, and rightly so. And I think there definitely has to be change coming from all elements of the club, from the top downwards, because the fish rots from the head down. The players also have to be, willing to buy into it. I mean, we can certainly blame Holding all he wanted. He didn't put a foot wrong, but it's really good that a lot of people notice some of those little things. I mean, he can certainly keep his end of the bargain. I don't know if he's necessarily going to have a bad game against Manchester City, but for now, if Arteta doesn't trust Kiwior, then we can't really risk him. We can't just throw players in at the deep end and expect them to perform, and if they don't perform, we slate them. Look at what's happened to poor Kieran Tierney. He actually had a really good game against West Ham United, despite his struggles in being able to play the inverted role. He actually did contribute to the attack, and defensively, he was spot on. His last-ditch tackle saved us from conceding. There's no way that Zinchenko would have done that. Tierney is everything as a left-back that Zinchenko will never be. We all know that Zinchenko will play. I just hope and pray that he doesn't, because after that defensive, crap show, who would want that? I'm sorry, but and I'm gonna briefly give my lineup, and then I'll shout out my socials. Awesome. So obviously Ramsdale has to continue in goal. I would like to see Matt Turner, come in later on in the season if Ramsdale makes another mistake, because I'm sorry, there is no way that Arsenal can afford to have a goalkeeper becoming so erratic at this stage of the season. I know that Turner wasn't necessarily at his best against Lisbon, but in every other game he's played, he's looked really good. I thought he was outstanding for the US in the World Cup, and I'm sure all of you would have enjoyed watching that. So it has to be Ramsdale for now. And the back four almost picks itself, except instead of Zinchenko, it's got to be Kieran Tierney. I'm sorry. I do not want to run the risk of, Zinchenko completely neglecting his defensive responsibilities and making an utter idiot of himself for the second game running. So White, Holding, Gabriel, and Tierney. 4-2-3-1, which Dal said, perfect. Partey and Zinchenko. Zinchenko can play more of a defensive role. And can also be a little bit more attacking if Partey feels as though he can't continue being box to box. Midfielders, it would be Martinelli on the left. I'd like to pick Trossard on the right and have Granit Xhaka play the number 10 role, because in this game we can't afford to have Odegaard going missing. I know that Xhaka was ill, but he should recover in time. And then, of course, Gabriel Jesus will be on his own up front. At least he, unlike Eddie Nketiah, could be able to lead the line, and you could bring. And if Saka has to come on later, he could come on for Jesus, and Saka could slot into the right wing, and Trossard could be the false nine. So yeah, I don't want to see Zinchenko play another game for us. Good pass and dribbler, good at carrying the ball, but has the defensive capabilities of the tree stump in the front garden. But Firmino, if he were to be to come in as a midfielder, I'm sure you wouldn't have a problem with that, because that is one way he could certainly contribute. Anyway, gentlemen, TJ, big up to all of you. Big up to Mr. Warren. Thank you for having me on. And I wanted to just sort of hold my peace so that all of you could have at it. Probably not the best frame of mind for me to come on, but I'm glad I was able to. I missed coming on your channel, TJ. And my socials. Catch me on Instagram at Manny 1981, which is my full name and my year of birth. Say it like you spell it like you say it. Twitter. Catch me at Thungatherai 1981, which is my surname and my year of birth. You can catch me over there having a few debates with a few Arteta inners or Teta sexuals, as they're called. And it'll be good fun and something worth enjoying. And catch me on several channels on YouTube, mainly Arsenal fan channels, but big up as well to Up the Cherries in all departments, the Bournemouth fan channel and Spurs Asian TV with and Eugen's channel. I've gone on their channels before. I've gone on several other channels as a voice of reason. And all I will say is that to be a gentleman or a gentle person, you've got to be willing to disagree without being disagreeable. And if you can't disagree without being disagreeable, there's no point in having a discussion. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. If it's too late for you, good night and have a good next week. Don't do anything the five of us wouldn't do, but for now, I'm out. Big up to everyone in the chat as well.
Cheers, brother.
Thanks, Manny. Thanks, Manny. Appreciate it. Dal, shout yourself out. My co-host with the most.
Check me out every Friday on the American Idiots Show with my man right here. Yeah, right there. Every Friday at 2 p.m. West Coast time, 3 p.m. East Coast time, 9 p.m.
UK, 9 p.m. UK.
So anyway, yeah, check me out on YouTube. Thank you, Spencer, for the sub. Much appreciated. My lineup would be Kieran Turney. Well, wait a second here. I'm going to go. You guys are going to slate me for this. I'm going to go Zinchenko, Gabriel, Tierney, Ben White. I'm going to put Turney in the center. Rob Holding, not my guy. And I would still do a 4-2-3-1 with Partey and Jorginho in front of the back four. I would let Partey be the box-to-box and let Jorginho hold down the back four. And the attacking four is normal, Martinelli, Odegaard, and Saka with Jesus up front. And then I would probably bring Trossard in for Jesus if it's not getting done.
Okay.
I don't want
Excellent. Shout yourself out, man.
Yeah, thank you. Check me out on YouTube. I don't want to see Kiwior. I don't want to see Vieira. I don't, we've got a good 11. We've got to get away from the 4-3-3. It leaves us too open on that counter attack. We have to go 4-2-3-1 for the remaining games. City's going to push 5 or 6 attackers, and we need the defensive support. And you don't have that at 4-3-3, obviously. 4-2-3-1 or nothing, TJ. And I don't think he's going to play that formation because it would be the smart thing to do. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Shout out to my man Minerals, TJ, Spencer. I got to hop off. I got to go roll a spliff, man, and then chill. But
yes.
Yeah, so I need that. But anyway, shout out to the panel and the chat. Jez, I see you. Jaminho, Mama Flossie, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you before Friday, I'm sure, TJ.
Absolutely, my friend.
Thank you so much for everyone tuning in to every show.
Yep. Thanks again, Dal. Thanks again.
Take care, man.
All right, and now bringing it to Minerals FC, Mud and the Wrongins. Minerals, give us your final thoughts on the Man City game coming up. Shout out your stuff, my man.
Listen, you can follow me on Twitter, IG, and you can find me in most channels and stuff like that. Like, one thing I said is that I was saying that I don't like our fans that revisionize about like former managers and former players. That's the thing I was trying to say, and use that to bash for no reason. That's what I meant.
Okay. Anything else, Minerals, before we let you go, brother?
Anything? Something else I would say is we need all the defenders we can against Man City, man. And make sure they don't score.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, and making his YouTube debut on my channel, I'm actually pretty damn honored. And Spencer, you are a hell of a guy on camera and in the chat. So again, if you want to start your own channel, man, you have a sub in me, and I know you got a sub in my boy Dal here. So shout yourself out and big yourself up, my friend.
So really, it's the name in the I guess the little box down here to the left. I'll work on some stuff. Like I've always watched these things, and it's kind of cool to now kind of interact outside of just the chat box, and be honored to be able to come on again and talk and everything. And so for me, I'm looking at this City game, and this is what really bothers me about the last two results, is I think you absolutely could have taken a team and not set up for a tie, because I know that just sounds so defeatist, but you could have gone and tied at Man City and been steer clear and just embrace for Newcastle, Brighton, all those games that are coming down the road, but you didn't. So now you're going to have to come in there and play and for me, I think this is the team that's going to happen. It's going to be Ramsdale, Zinchenko, Gabriel, Holding, and then White, Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard, and then he's going to have Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka. It's boring, the changes I would make if it was up to me is I put Tierney in for Zinchenko. I would play Rob Holding for a half, and then if Saliba was available, I'd throw him out there for that second half. We saw a lot of success in the FA Cup with those two, that combo that we did there. But I'm bracing for the worst, guys. I'm hoping good vibes. It just feels like we've screwed up in the other two games that we might actually find a way to win there. I hope I'm right, but hey, we'll see what happens. I mean, what can we do?
Yeah, let me build on real quick, Jakes. I know we got to go with Spencer saying. I don't know how long, Spencer, you've been following Arsenal. I've been following almost 22, 23 years. It would be totally Arsenal to go whip Man City 3-1 on Wednesday and then play like shit like we have the last 3 games. It would totally be Arsenal. It's happened many times before. We've been down, and then we're like, oh shit, City United or Liverpool.
Yeah.
And we go in and we beat them. I mean, it's happened. Like I said, I've been a fan for almost 25 years. And you can ask Jez, Germinho, anybody on the panel here. We could beat them. We could. The chances are very slim. But knowing Arsenal and knowing our mentality and the way we bounce back, which has been actually pretty good this season, except for the last few running games, we could go beat them. We have the players to do it. We just don't have the tactics, right? Mm-hmm. So, so with that said, it's going to be up to the players to express themselves and play like they know how to play. Listen to Arteta, but do the opposite to a point, right? Because Arteta can't play for them. They're the ones that have to go out there and carpe diem, grab the bull by the horns, and just make it happen. There's just no excuses now. We have
100% agree. You know what's sad? You know what's sad? I go back to watching Friday after the game. Like I was super angry during it, which I normally don't get very angry, but for some reason, it was so horrible. It just had me. Like, when they scored the second goal, I had no emotion. When they scored the third goal, still really not much emotion because I knew we had kind of blown it. And I watched the way they walked off the field. They looked defeated. Mm-hmm. And that's what really bothers me more than anything else is that I think, and they're so young, and it's not an excuse, but it also is kind of an excuse too. You just got to have that killer mentality, and they need someone else. And this summer, we need to find a leader to come in and help push these guys up.
Right. We thought we had that leader in Thomas Partey, right? That's why I know Odegaard's the captain. To me, Thomas Partey is the real leader of that team, to be honest. And, I've coached as well, like you have at the youth level. And you set your team, let me use a quick example. I know you guys are all going to go. We had this kid named Max, big foot, right? Could run and kick the ball hard, but couldn't pass. So what do? I put him at sweeper. Perfect. We won the last 3 games. It's about mixing up the players and what they're good at. And that's why I think we need a 4-2-3-1. Jorginho in there next to Partey. We can't have him running up the pitch. That's where we're going to get caught, is between our defensive mid and the center back. That gap in there is where Holland loves to hang out at.
I will say this much.
And if we don't bring back a defensive mid to help Gabriel and Holding, Holland's going to have a field day in that gap. Yeah.
Well, that's when that game in the FA Cup fell apart, and I think even at the home game we didn't have Partey. Like we haven't played Man City with all our starting 11, and I think that's unfortunate. But this is another phrase, and it comes in sports. Availability is just as important as ability, and if you can't be available, I can't rely on you. And it seems like something is we're injury prone. Certain guys just keep getting injured, and we need them for 38 games if we're going to win this title. And just the frustration to go back to the Europa League game where you throw Saliba out there, but you don't start Partey, you don't start Saka, you say you're going for it, and then you throw him out there anyway, but then you lose Saliba and Tomiyasu. Either you cared about the game or you didn't. Right. And that's tactically, Arteta has just lost me over the last couple of games, and maybe it's been growing, but I'm just hoping for the best, guys, and I appreciate you letting me come on, TJ. Definitely awesome.
Me too. I'm hoping for a 3-2 win, but I think it's going to be on the other side. Unfortunately, I just after that, and that again, that's what like Jorginho and Jez has been saying in the chat is like Jorginho said it. it'd be like us to beat City, then go lose to Chelsea or go lose to Brighton when we got to play them. And it's so Arsenal now that's where all our as old school fans, like myself somewhat, and Jez and so forth, that's where our anger comes from. Is that why can't the performances be consistent day in and day out, regardless of the competition? Do we need to step up for United, City, Liverpool, etc.? Yes, of course. But that doesn't mean we drop the levels down for Southampton and West Ham. So there has to be a middle ground. And like you said, availability, injury-free. And when you say available, I know you mean mentally available too, right? Just because they're buzzing, they're ready for the fucking game. We saw that against Newcastle and Tottenham today, right? Just because their body's there doesn't mean they're ready to play. So Arteta's got a lot of work to do before Wednesday. A lot of work to do.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Really
hopefully it turns out well.
Yeah, hopefully. But anyway, great show.
I'm going.
Let's take us out.
Absolutely. Again,
all right, guys. Take care.
All right, thanks, Spencer. I want to thank Spencer. I want to thank Minerals. I want to thank Strasburg Steve, Manny, Conor, Eugene, everybody who came on to chop it up with us. I really, really appreciate it. My thoughts going into Man City are not great. Not great. I think the only change that Arteta is actually may make is putting Tierney in for Zinchenko, because even Stevie Wonder could see that we are getting absolutely destroyed on the left side of the field, the attacking right.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. It is what it is. Dal, I can absolutely see where you could we could lock down a little bit more, give the back line some more support by playing two more CDMs. I mean, I really wish I could see that, but is it going to be enough to stop Haaland? I mean, the key to stopping Haaland, and I've always said this, the key to stopping Haaland is, oh man, Gary's here. I got to let him do a quick shout out. Quick shout out for Gary. Gary's here. Hello. Gary, we're taking it out, but I want to hear real quick your thoughts on the Man City game, and then I literally have to take it out. We've been going for 2.5 hours.
No, I appreciate that. No, I just saw you and I said, let me see if I can get in. I know we have to throw the kitchen sink at this game, no matter what it is. I want to jump on their necks right away. If we don't, because we needed to win these last 3 games. We didn't. We have this, for me, is I don't want to have to win the last 6 and then hope City drops points.
Right.
I really want to just smack them in the mouth real quick, get the foot on their neck, hold on to it, and see out that game. That's the only way we're going to – that's how I have to see this game playing out if we're going to get the 3 points. If we give them any rope, we're in trouble. It's over. They'll take a draw, easy. But we have to make them have to come chase us like they've been doing all season anyways.
I don't know, Gary. I don't think they're going for a draw, bro.
No. I said, if they get a draw, they're fine with it.
Yeah,
because they have the 2 games in hand. What I'm saying is, though, the way they've been playing, the draw means that we 2-3 goals up on them and they're chasing us down.
Correct.
And the only way I see that happen is if we come out and play totally different than we play exactly the way we did against Southampton, but double it. You know what I mean? But I don't see that. So, but we need to. Whoever scores first for me has the upper hand. Whoever gets to 3 goals first wins.
Yeah.
But all of that is asking a lot based on where we've been the last 3 weeks. So it's going to be tough. But that's what. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. You nervous? Are you nervous? Just as nervous for Newcastle?
I can't even think that far ahead because this one, because think about it. We win this one, that sets us up good.
Right.
But if we don't, then we have to win. We have to win out, and all those games will be tough because every team we play has something that they're playing for. Either they're playing just to survive, or they're playing to make sure they get top 4 relegation, or in Chelsea's case, just to show face. They just can't. They need those players. Some of those players are probably fighting for jobs. All right. It doesn't seem like they're playing like they have their jobs on the line, but they should be.
Yeah, and to me, Chelsea's on paper is one of the best teams in the world and can show up at any moment. All it takes is
they have enough talent. They have enough talent that can just outshine you no matter what. So you know what, and we've been playing like this all season. Every time we go into a game, there's always something about, they play well at home. We're tough, it's going to be a tough road match for us. So I felt like the pressure has just been the same level. Our form has just been poor. And have we succumbed to it? I hope not. But we look like it the last 3 games, right? So
yeah.
Arteta has to have a master class. The players need to play the way that, like, here we go. Take a blueprint. Last 10 minutes of that match. Take that, triple it, double it. Now you've got like a full game, right? That's what you need. Like, I want you to play that like you did those 10 minutes. If you have to come out after 60, 70 minutes because you're beat, thank you. You've done a good job. That's what I want to see. You got 5 subs. So I don't want you to give me 90 minutes of like average. No, give me 100% all the way through. If you're done after 65 minutes, I'm pulling you. Because he has numbers to pull these players. So play. Don't hold anything back. We don't have any time for that. Tomorrow isn't coming. You're playing in the game on Wednesday. That's the only thing that matters. The next game doesn't matter. It never did.
Yeah.
I know TJ, you want to go. If we get a draw or a win at City, we're still in it.
Yeah. Then we have to win out, and they have to win. They have a tough. Those last 3 games are going to be tough for them, where they have to play 3 games in 8 days. I know they have the numbers, but they're playing. I think they're playing Brighton, right? Not Brighton. I think they're playing Everton. And they're
playing Brighton.
They're playing Brighton.
Chelsea too. They have to play Chelsea too, which is
a
big deal.
They have a tough that 3-game stretch in 8 days. I think to see it out, it will be.
I think about the Chelsea thing. They played Chelsea. You say that. I think Chelsea, because they hate us, maybe they might just let them win if we're gonna go that far.
Yeah, here's the thing, bro, is that the team is, that Chelsea is so good on paper. You know this. They can turn up. They just can't.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, they just have no style. And Lampard is shocking, but I guess Man City. If Chelsea play Man City and Man City need to win that, I have a dirty feeling that Chelsea might roll over, stop Arsenal, blah blah blah.
I don't understand why do teams roll over for everybody else, but for us, they want to play.
Yeah, for us, they're freaking 70s Brazil.
Yeah.
Like, why is that?
Minerals called it right. And Chelsea can show up, as we all know, they can show up at any time, and they're not scoring goals. That's what's their.
Yeah, they don't score, man. You know what I mean?
They have goal scorers. I mean, let's not forget João Felix. You don't think he's going to give Holding a hard time?
Exactly, he can.
A hard time. I mean,
can I just deal with this week's stress, please?
I'm telling
you, my days.
Okay, so we've got 18 points to play for, right? We have 6 games left, while City have 8. So they have 24 to play for. We have 18 to play for. If City slip up, that is, of course, to our benefit, but we can't slip up. We can literally afford. I hate to say this, we can only afford 1 draw. And I think that draw is going to be either with Chelsea or it's going to be at Brighton at home.
Newcastle.
Brighton at our place is no easy game.
It's at home.
Bro, we're going to draw some games. City are definitely going to draw some games. This is far from over. There's a ton of points left to play for.
I mean, are you really sure? Because Man City, they don't look like losing, do they?
No, bro, but they still have Newcastle, Brighton, and Chelsea to play. And I think out of those 3, there's a draw in there. I really do.
There's a record on the line too, because it's been like 4 years, I think, since we haven't won in 4 games. So we'll see.
We broke a record Friday, right?
You put it out there, Arteta will do it.
The record, Gary, was that's the most goals a 20th place team has ever played a first place team and scored that many goals in the history of the Prem.
That's the scary part.
Yeah, man. Those records are scary, man. Yeah, but we just need to break the good records,
Yeah. And with that, you know what? I'm going to end on that positivity.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm serious. I'm going to end it this time, Gary. But Gary, I want to give you an opportunity to shout out your channel. I really, really do enjoy your shows.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride. Shout out yourself, man, please.
Yeah. So DWTT, we're on usually on Mondays. Tomorrow I have work, so we're pushing out to Tuesdays. But usually it's Saturdays and Mondays is my show. But tomorrow is Tuesday, so just check your Twitter or your YouTube. We'll be on 7:30 p.m. on the East Coast, 12:30 a.m. for those across the pond. So DWTT
right.
Arsenal, we bring it up.
Big up.
Yep,
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, and Central Man, I see you in the back, man. We're closing up right now. I've gone for 2.5 hours. I got to take a break, brother. we'll catch you on the next one, my man. All right. Again, thank you everybody for joining. I just want to shout out one more time. We got Gary, we got Oregon Gooner, we got Minerals FC, Minerals General, we got Eugene, we got Strasburg Steve, Conor. Who am I missing, Dal? Spencer,
Luke,
Jaminho, Luke, Jess, everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been cathartic for me since I wasn't able to do it because I was in Colorado. But again, if you haven't already, sub TJ Warren TV, American Idiot Show, Friday nights, 9 o'clock UK time. If there are any schedule changes, I will post it. We will be doing a match preview against Man City. I just don't know exactly when that's going to be yet. Again, just keep on the socials. I will be posting on there. So until next time, come on, you Gunners. You certainly do not make it easy on me. We'll see you next time.
Cheers, lads.
All right. See ya.